On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're here to talk to you about the upcoming anniversary event, and also a surprise Gramps banner, shocking everyone. But also, we have a new Gudaguda to react to, we have some JP news coming out, and lots of other things. Plus, have you ever wanted to know what's happening in Prisma Illya, but have been too afraid because it involves magical girls? Don't worry, Omega will explain it to you. That's me, by the way. I'm one of your hosts. I am your current warlord, Omega. Lucky, my chief retainer. Ready to demolish castles.
I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a demon by any other name. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest in FGO news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EA version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should realize their ambition.
Yeah, well, you don't vote for your current warlord, you just pick them. Hire them on the hire screen. Anyway, hi. We're gonna give you a show today. It will be a something. We have definitely not been jawing for like an hour about the Sengoku era off mic in the pre-show for a lot of patrons. Speaking of which, though, I would like to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Aka Comics, Kazamiya, Architect 10, Lexa G, Carlos, Qua, Dragon, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda over to Ferrand 723. If you like what we do and want us to do more, consider supporting Patreon. You can access episodes early on some of the goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a show. We
do.
Stuff.
Yep.
Let's see. Do we want to just get into the stuff? Well, I guess no time like the present. There's not really any preamble to do.
Nope.
So, let's just move into our first-ish segment. Yeah, it's been like 2 minutes. I can do the first bit.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up, Senpai. We're going for pro tips. Hey, so, this is immediately relevant to some stuff I brought up in the intro. So everybody, this is a good pro tip to have. But you should be warned that because we, in North America, are on our own cycle of anime releases, you may get some banners and other things out of sequence. So, watch out. Like, I don't know, I think there were some upgrades and some animation updates to do with Heaven's Feel, but, especially, there's a lot of things they've released tied to the two Camelot movies, so you guys should probably watch out, because those will probably happen sooner over here than they did in JP. Also, I want to throw out there, depending on how Solomon shakes out, we could easily end up with whatever that content is early as well. So, just letting everybody know, I know we usually enjoy Clairvoyance EX and all that, but because we don't have to wait 2 years for anime to come out, thank God, there'll be stuff. There'll be stuff will happen. There'll be stuff. Watch out for it. Just be prepared, okay? Keep an eye out when you know anime and stuff's coming out. But yeah, okay. Well, I think it's time to move swiftly on to our first bit of things when you guys want to know, you gremlins. So I shall begin with Records on the Throne, a regular achievement topic. Okay, so some of you know this already because you follow me on Twitter. But I spent approximately 200 Saint Quartz. I acquired NP6 Mori, NP4 Summer Nobu. Yes, that's right, that's how many Summer Nobus I have. Only one of them came from this banner. NP2 Mordred, of all things, and I did get a Mao. Now, I want to say this in context of both the further text down the line and just how I know other people did. Post facto, I did pretty good for myself. Didn't overspend my Saint Quartz, it worked out, got the stuff. Great, good. I do want to say, though, at the moment, man, it was a harsh victory. It was an awful slog to get there. I was spooked. I had several min rolls. I had rolls of oops, all 4-star CEs. Not even event CEs, just like 4-star CEs I've had max limit broken forever. I got Mao literally on my last roll before I gave up. Like, I'm like, alright, this banner sucks. I'm rolling one more time and then I am quitting. So, it worked out for me, but it was brutal for me, and it was brutal for a lot of people. It was a rough banner. That said, with those things, I have protected the smiles of Mao and my temporary Kagetora. So that's good.
That is very good. Now I will grab the camera and point it at me and say, so I spent $265 and I scored a few Moris and another Summer Nobu. That only puts my Nobu up to MP2, not as impressive. And also some other SRs that I can't be asked to remember right now. Listen, I got a lot of them. They blur together. They really do. And I did get an SSR. I got me another Ganesha. I have an MP3 Ganesha right now. This girl has been out like a month and she's already MP3. I'm just all like, why? Girl, I love you, but why? Yeah. And as for, like, actually, like, buying and spending quartz, I left it there. I was like, I'm done. I'll wait till I got tickets. And I did get my tickets. I was actually able to maintain my login streak for once. Good job, Lucky. That's a record for the throne right there. And I spent all fucking 10 tickets. And on the 10th ticket, I got an Avenger Nobu. It was, what's even the word of feeling? I don't know, like relief? Astonishment? Just incredulousness? I don't know if to say cathartic.
It was a something.
It was a something.
It's always that experience when you know you've gone to the wall for a servant and you're like, this is my last chance, and then it actually happens. It's jubilation, I think, is too excited. Like, you don't feel like truly like super happy or anything. Like, that's when you get them in like one roll or whatever, you know? When stuff goes amazingly well, you're like, oh shit, I didn't have to do anything. This is great.
Yeah.
The result after the struggle is just like, oh, thank God, it's done. I got it. Cool. I can go to bed now. Like, the
bittersweet release, yeah.
Yeah. It was not as intense, obviously, because I did not have to spend money, but I felt a similar feeling on my own as I'm like, this is my last 10 roll. These rolls have all been butts. I'm gonna stop. I've already gotten an SSR, and it wasn't the rate up one, and it's like, oh, hey, Skip Gang. Skip Gang's been sucking for me lately, though. I keep getting, like I said, so many 4-star CEs the game needs to tell me I got. I'm like, alright, okay. This thing where they yeet shit out of the gacha can't come soon enough. Fuck. I'm so tired of seeing some of these launch CEs. Anyway, Lucky, please continue.
So, on that note, I did try to spend my time during the half AP in Double Suck Chance wisely, and I was able to get Lancer Alter, Izo, and my temporary copy of Kagatori, fully leveled and smile protected. I'm currently working on Avenger Nobu, punching hands.
Yay, punch hands.
Yep. But on that note, and talking about Nobu, some people are probably wondering, what the fuck is up with Wanted Avenger Nobunaga? And with that, we shall transition to Not All the World's Evil, but Damn Close. And which I wrote, and I quote, yes, I will quote myself, "Yo, trying to boil down Oda Nobunaga's 32 years of battles, betrayal, and bonding into a couple of pages is bullshit, and I absolutely regret taking on this project." End quote.
Rip.
So, here's the thing. I love the Sengoku era. I really do. But trying to explain the breadth of the Sengoku era in a short and concise manner without getting, like, ridiculously memey is nearly impossible. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah, no, I've talked about this, I think, a couple months ago on What's Up. I watched a Sengoku era, late Sengoku about the unification era thing, and, like, it was, like, 6 episodes, and I think Nobunaga was 3 episodes, and they're all an hour long. Like, it's hard. It's hard for real-ass historians to do.
So, like I said, I've been researching this. Like, I've actually been doing poorly at work because I'll be at work thinking about this, and I have to go research something. I was like, shit. Like, what do the numbers mean, Nobu? As I'm, like, looking up his retainers, his battles, locations, and I'm just like, oh my God. I haven't given up necessarily, but I have realized that I have to change my outlook of how I want to do this. And instead of, basically telling, all of Nobunaga's fucking history, I have to just, particularly focus on, 1 to 3 things. And so far, what I think it's going to be the succession crisis of the Oda clan, because that's Kaposhi. The Battle of Okehazama, which is Axe is stating the obvious. Okehazama, which honestly was literally the turning point of the Sengoku era. Literally, I was actually talking about this before here, but the Battle of Okehazama was so vital in so many fucking different ways. It's kind of fucking scary.
Mm-hmm. It's the battle where Lucky and I were talking about this in the pre-show, where all 3 of the great unifiers of Japan were there.
Yeah,
and at that point they weren't all on the same side yet either, right?
No,
yeah,
no, they weren't.
No, that's before Ieyasu got hostage to Nobu, and Nobu was like, "This guy's smart. Let's keep him."
Mm-hmm.
Dibs.
And let's see. I'm also thinking probably talking about the massacre of Mount Hiei, because that is actually the incident which people started calling Nobunaga the Demon King.
yeah, that's when Nobu's reputation as Mao started.
Yeah. And maybe I'll finish up with Honnouji. Like, honestly, Honnouji isn't really actually that kind of, crazy. It's literally fucking, Nobu's chilling at fucking, Honnouji. Akechi is, like, far away, and he's all like, you know what? Fuck that guy. Turns around, does battle, and then fucking Hideyoshi was all like, fuck that guy, well, fuck you! It's kind of funny. So, I think I'll probably focus on those parts, and then go into Mao mechanics, which is their own kettle of fish, by the way.
Yeah, I been using mine a lot, and while I'm gonna sorely miss the large damage bonus after this event is over. This I don't want to say that Adventure Nobu is bad. I feel like this kit is a little lackluster for such a late stage SSR. Mm-hmm. Like in particular, I'm disappointed by the battery. The battery, I'm like, this is such a tiny baby battery and stars per turn. What's going on here? Help me out, Delightworks. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe they had, because it's a joke in the original Gudaguda event, maybe they had the plan for 5-star Nobu for so long, they just needed to find where it worked out.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But, we'll talk more about that in the Wanted.
So, like I said, I am basically retooling my thinking process for this Wanted, and hopefully I'll get it out. If not, I might just have to call this one wash. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'll just yell about Nobunaga and how cool they are for 5 minutes and tell you all to go look at the mechanics yourself. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. That reminds me, I've got about, a weekish left myself to prep Da Vinci Small. I should do that this weekend.
I hate my work ethic so much.
For me at least, I know that the Da Vinci Anniversary one will be short, because I will literally be like, hey, you want to know about Leonardo da Vinci? Check out this fucking video I did already. Da Vinci is cool. Tiny Da Vinci being a writer is probably taken from the fact that Leonardo da Vinci had notebooks where he invented everything. That thing? Invented. Helicopters? Da Vinci. Tanks? Da Vinci. Gliders? Da Vinci. Assassin blades? That was probably fictional.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, for lore stuff, I'm just gonna be like, I hope to God you've met Da Vinci writer if you've been playing 4 Lost Months worth of content. That's it. You can figure it out. We'll figure something out. It's not gonna be a long one. I'll have some fun with it. But yeah, no, this is the crisis of doing, pocket history in some of these people. I talked about looking at this in the pre-show too. I had that crisis with Arjuna Altar because I realized how fucking huge the Mahabharata is, and I'm like, oh no. Well, I guess we'll just try and find the most Cliff Notes version, which in of itself is cutting out so much nonsense. Like, I think I summarized the war to 3 bullet points of it actually happening, and then all the pre-stuff was just, hey, there was just an adventure. They did adventure things, basically. Like, a relative tried to murder them, and they went hidden woods, and then they got adventures. Ugh. Well, we're gonna get a lot of Saint Court's anniversary, so I am ready to rock and roll.
My wallet is not dead.
Speaking of inserting Saint Court, well, especially our wallets, depending on how fast Patreon comes through with its money turnaround, our wallets are not dead immediately at the start of a month anyway. It's not a lot of cash, but it's there.
I appreciate every single one of you.
But let's speaking of earning Saint Courts, let's talk about people. Did you finish your master missions? Today, I would like to remind you that to complete your master missions, you must defeat 15 mini-Nobus, defeat 30 mini-Nobus, get 50 of each currency drop individually, thread, salt, and meat, and then complete Quest of the Lance in your party 5 times, aka, everybody say it with me now, do the event! Literally, almost all of them say X in the Gudaguda event. Like, yeah, do your fucking event. It's also good. You get a lot of QP from it. It's rad. I love it. Also, I love this event, but we'll circle back to that one later. So, we'll move into the news, because we've got some. The dead air has cleared. So, JP has 2 bits of news to hit us with. First of all, Interlude Campaign 16 has launched, starting on the 23rd of June, going to the 30th of June. Half AP interludes during this week-long period. It involves Saint Court's interludes for Mandricardo, Anastasia, Salome, and Yang. That'll be pretty interesting, because I know Yang didn't even get a full trial quest worth of content. But we also get skill interludes for 3 servants, Saber Astolfo, Canis, and Salieri. Astolfo's first skill now gives him 10 to 20% NP battery to start. That's his NP per turn skill, so now it gives him 20% max right out the gate, and then 20% for 3 more turns. So 80% over time, pretty useful. And also drops 10 to 20 stars. Canis' second skill now gives 20% battery straight up and 5 to 15 stars per turn for 3 turns, in addition to its normal effects, which are about increasing attack and stuff on attack. Salieri's Wildfire skill has been upgraded. It now gives him Star Absorb up and 5100% crit up for 1 turn also, so he can actually hurt people. All of these are pretty good. I know this came up in a discussion about Lancer Alter's future buff as well with her 20% battery, but I suspect a lot of servants are getting 20% batteries because Delightworks has realized that no matter what they do, lots of servants have straight up fucked NP gain. Like, if you're a Lancer deck or a Gorilla deck, you don't get NP. It doesn't matter how good your NP gain stat is. It just doesn't happen. You need, like, crazy good hit counts to have it actually matter. They're giving a lot of batteries. This also comes with a summon banner, which is very interesting. It's Anastasia, Canis, Mandricardo, and Salieri banner until the 7th of July. I'm not going to say no to more Canis and Salieri raid-ups. Those guys are story-locked normally. I don't know when the last time Saber Astolfo got a raid-up, though, but he did at least get a rerun, so it's not that bad. Still, banners.
Banners.
Speaking of which, we got another one. Just announced today-ish, I think, in Japan. We officially have actually hit Avalon the Fae banner number 2. Running from the 25th of June to the 2nd of July.
That's a lie. It's just a rerun of the anniversary banner.
Basically, yeah. It's Castoria and new CEs only. I mean, it's tied into Avalon the Fae, but it gives them a cute time to, like, actually rerun Castoria before the actual anniversary shit happens. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. On the other hand, this does, I think, solidify the fact that we are getting at least one more banner out of this at the start of next month, if not 2 more. Because they were like, oh, we'll throw out a second banner. It's just a Castoria rerun. Like, oh my god, wow, really? Okay, you're holding shit back.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least one more big chunky banner, because there are a lot of characters who are not summonable yet. Several of them have silhouettes. But yeah, we get to finally see what the Part 2 banner is. And it seems like with the interlude campaign and stuff, they are just full-blown stalling time until they can get to the next chapter release.
Yeah, and like I said, we were thinking it was either going to be like one big event or a couple mini things. It looks like we're going on a couple mini things route.
Yeah, they're just going to spread out a couple of associated banners over time. Keep people alert. I mean, not always. Usually they rerun the second one, but they do other stuff. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of raid-ups we need to hit up. Anyway, let's move on to the NA news, because we've got some. We have several bits of news related to our 4th anniversary, which is soon. So log in on the 25th/the 26th, if you're in non-Pacific time zones, to get 30 Saint Courts. Only this day, and so forth, but yes, no, you're in there. Also, I won't talk about your spoilers there, Devilish, but no. We have 3 silhouettes who aren't summonable yet. That at least is one more banner worth of whatchamacallit stuff. Of Avalon the Fae stuff. But yeah, log in on the 25th/26th to actually get 30 Saint Courts straight up to celebrate the date. Log in every day leading up to 7/3 to get apples. Which is good, because there will probably be half AP dailies and stuff during this time. They have also formally announced Chaldea Broadcasting Station US Branch Volume 13 will happen at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 3rd of July, as predicted by us. Guests include Ayako Kawasumi, Satoshi Soroka, and Kano Yoshiki, in addition to our usual hosts. There's a social media campaign for 5 Saint Courts. So, I talked about this with Lucky in the pre-show, but I want to bring this up to the audience to see if y'all are okay with this. So, you may notice that time slot. That's 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday, which is exactly our usual time slot to broadcast What's Up. So, I talked about this with Lucky, and what I would like to do is basically flip the days for What's Up, and let's talk if we can pull it off and we're not dead, or I'm not alone in a room full of cardboard boxes. I've talked about this. I'm moving soon. My parents are closing on the new house the start of next week, so hopefully, knock on wood, I won't be, stuck somewhere with my shit piled up, and I can actually rig the recording rig. Who knows? Maybe I'll insist I don't get moved out if I don't have a place to put my shit before that day, because it's kind of a very big deal, important show. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what I would plan to do is we would just start our own recording of Let's Talk FGO, because that's normally released to public on Saturday. We would live stream it. We would pip in the panel release, the premiere, and talk over it ourselves with a commentary. And whatever Lucky wants to put on the screen as well, so we don't get attacked by copyright gremlins.
At least you're like some FGO or something.
And then after they conclude, because I'm sure they won't be super long, there'll be a decent amount of time. It's an anniversary, but they won't be forever either. They'll probably play some games though, like they did last time. But we'll have some time. We'll do then the rest of our regular news. Anything that's happened during the week, we'll probably recap the news. And so we will also talk about other stuff too. Then, like because today's show is already pretty full, I have put off Welfare Corner on Kagetora until next week. And to be fair, Kagekura is still technically only temporary. God, I wish I had some Lancer Skill Gems though. It hurts me. Anyway, so that's my current plan. We will do you a live show on Saturday to pip in the panel, and if that becomes a problem, we will just wait until the panel is over and then do the show, because there's no earthly reason for us to be scooped the day we would public release anyway about the anniversary. That would be very dumb of us. It lines up so perfectly. So yeah, that's what we'll probably do next week, if you guys are okay with that, and I'm sure you are. You'll be there. There'll be a thumbnail and everything. Also, plus, we are only like 3 subs away from like 3K, so if you guys aren't animals to us and sub now, right now, if you're not subbed, sub now. If you're already subbed, don't unsub then sub. That's annoying. Just sub right now if you're not subbed. We'll hit 3K and we can celebrate that as well.
Yeah.
We're very close, so I hope we get there. But that's all of our immediate anniversary news. But then we had another bit of surprising news that happened, was announced just last night, hasn't started yet. There was a commemoration coming for the second volume of the Babylonia Blu-ray. Blu-ray box set number 2 is coming out. And so on the 27th until the 11th of July, we are getting a special celebration event. It includes a summon banner with the first Hassan, as well as Medusa Lancer, Kazgil, Gorgon, Juggerman, and Ushi on various rotating rate-ups. And will include Gramps' rank up early. This is about a year early for us, both on a Gramps rate-up and on the rank up. So, yeah, a lot of people are befuddled because this is a banner with some story locks on it and with a limited SSR, and does have a very spicy rank up coming very early, but I am okay with that rank up. Oh my god, did you actually get every frickin' mini Nobu in this thumb?
I think I missed one, but I can't remember which one.
That's a lot of them. Nobody will complain.
Oh, I know which one. Fuck, I don't have the UFO Nobu. Hang on.
Oh, well, hold on. We got to do a live edit. This is going to be so confusing for the people watching the late version of the show, because you will have already gone back and found a UFO Nobu and tucked it in there somewhere, and they'll have seen it the entire time. We're time hacks here. That reminds me, to completely diverge, I had a long conversation in our NA spoiler channel with people, join our Discord, BT Dubs, talking about, like, temporal mechanics and, like, are there timelines that aren't Lost Belts yet but will? And I'm like, yes, but also no, because time is fuckled. Like, if you think about the way Lost Belts are created, Lost Belts didn't exist. They weren't stretched because their timelines were pruned until the alien god attacked Earth and set the trees. And then the trees allow them to continue on to the point of our modern time period. Which is why quite a few Lost Belts are full of filler time where nothing happened because they weren't actually existing. And it's just very confusing and weird. By the way, somebody suggested this as a pro tip, but we'd already done the pro tip segment by the time they brought it up. But speaking of the Gramps banner, I do want to throw this out there. If you do want to roll on Gramps, consider waiting until after the 3rd, because this anniversary should be the update where if you do 10 spins, you actually get 11 pulls as a result. So you may actually want to wait so you can get more bang for your buck and hopefully get that extra chance to get that Gramps if you're hunting for him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to replace it. Fuck you.
And then our last bit of the news, this was reported a while ago, but the Shimosa manga adaptation has been officially licensed coming July 6th. Actually, yeah, somebody also has a good point, where our rate up on SSRs will go from 0.7 to 0.8 if it's a solo rate up, which is pretty good. So yeah, if you do want Gramps, consider waiting the extra couple of days until the anniversary anyway, if you're going to roll, if you're going to set aside your quartz, so you can get more bang for your buck. Alright, we'll tuck this to assets.
Oh, yeah. Devilish in the chat is saying, buy the Shimosa, I need Foxtail. Yeah, support with your wallet.
Yeah, no, that was actually something I wanted to bring up before somebody brought up another good point about the anniversary quality of life updates. Yes, no, this is actually quite surprising. I know we've gotten, I think, the first couple Part 1 manga adaptations, like Rautia Nua and stuff. Mm-hmm. Rautia Altos, whatever it's called. They like to throw random words in there that I don't understand, but, you know, it's Japan. Whatever those are called are out there for us. Is it Realtius Tulus?
I think it's Tulus, yeah.
Yeah. But I know those have been licensed. I don't know how successful they are, but yes, continue to support these official releases, and hopefully we'll get more official releases. Like, I don't know, the Foxtail. Also, actually, here's a question mark, which is related to our Teach Me topic later. Are the actual manga volumes of Prisma Illya officially localized? I know they brought over a couple seasons of the anime. I think everything. But...
I think I would have known if they were.
Yeah, no, that may also be a thing. But yes, buy more Fate product, get more Fate product. That is unfortunately how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's good news to see more official support. So we'll also see if they also do some tie-ins and stuff, because they have done in JP, they have done manga release tie-ins as well for those officials. So watch out for that kind of stuff being bundled in there as well.
Uh-huh.
Yes, also I would not be shocked, because there are mangas for Agartha and Seraphix as well. I would not be surprised if they brought those up.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd actually read them.
I do actually think, like, from what I remember, of Shimosa, like, the manga artist they got does do some really good action scenes. Like, there's some really good action art in there.
Okay.
And set pieces, so it can still be worth the... Much like, watching an anime of the stuff we've already played, I think there is some value to actually seeing some of these scenes play out in graphical format.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, so this will tie in very well. There's a manga C. Yeah, I know the Seraphix one actually changes some events and stuff. I mean, I don't know if anything's a must, guys, but yeah, that is all of our news for this week.
People on the internet always talking in absolutes. You animals.
I mean, but I can already find that anywhere on the internet.
But with that thought, we're going to move on, and we're going to transition into Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and respond accordingly. Because we do have a bit of a back half here, we're only going to be limiting it to an hour, which is a bit of a shame. There are, like, how many? Let's see here. 30 something?
Yeah, it's about 30.
And so, we'll try to get through as many as possible. If we can't, I apologize in advance. But with that, the timer is set, and we begin right meow. Our first one. As soon as the page loads, it's not loading. The circle is spinning. Pausing timer.
We enter the rip zone.
Let's try refreshing. Okay, that works. Start that timer right back up again. The first one comes from Secret Casino King Bung Bun, who says, sending more weekly well wishes. Thank you. Super appreciate them. We move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Giant Berserker Removal Agency, who says, now that we've gotten quite a few servants that are multiple people sharing Saint Graphs, Orion Artemis, the Valkyries, Avenger Nobu, which would you guys want to see in an animation? Either an adaptation of an FGO story or a new one. Thanks, have a good Nobu. Valkyries.
Yeah, I guess, like, it's kind of a weird question, but no, we should just do Lost Ball 2 animated and see Valkyries.
Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of want to see if they, like, kind of just, like, gonna kind of go and just change form occasionally. Because if I remember correctly, they say that they're all three there, but only one of them shares the form of one because they basically relieve the pressure off the Saint Graph and Master's energy. If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. The Valkyries are pretty interesting because they're all supposed to be interchangeable parts, except Bryn, who's the prototype, super prototype. So yeah, and this is why when they release Noble Phantasm, they actually manifest like 10 or so of them, because that's when they're at full power.
Alrighty, but thank you very much. We move on. The next one comes from Gudaguda God, who's asking a weird question again. If you had to redo the entire Solomon arc with one of these two groups of servants, who would you choose, the Umu Trio or the Nobu Trio? And for context, these three servants would already be level 100, 10 skills, 2,000 infos, and their bond CEs are as a toggleable passive, and their MPs as follows. 5 stars at MP3, 4 stars at MP4, and welfares at MP5. Why did you need the second half?
I don't... Alright, you want me to do a fake challenge run? Well, in that case, I do the one with the Nobu, because they have the class advantages I need, and I don't die. But, also, otherwise, no, I won't. I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that?
Again, this is hyper specific. I don't understand. What is your purpose in seeking this knowledge? Like, here's something I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. If you're gonna ask us this question, considering why you want us to answer it, please.
Yeah, I guess this is a blanket rule. When you ask us a question, what do you consider always what you want out of the answer and what you're gonna get out of the answer?
Yeah.
Because guys, if you're asking us a question on Mailbag, I hope to gosh you've listened to a couple of shows and you know what we're about. You should know how we will respond to your questions. We don't really change very much. We do what we do every week.
Mm-hmm. But I will also probably go, actually, what is it, a cast? Yeah, it's 2 sabers and a caster.
Yeah, no, that's why the Nobu one is superior. There's a Berserker and Avenger in there.
Yeah, and
Especially because I want to point out, it's redoing Solomon, where Avengers are good, because Demon Killers suck.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so Nobu. Alright, but with that, we move on. This next one comes from King Hassan equals Pikachu face. I'm assuming surprise Pikachu face. They say, hey y'all, do you ever think that the Lightworks or whatever guess us a servant or CE that lets us choose what our first hand of command cards will consist of? Say a CE that guarantees your first hand to be all Buster, or is it just has equipped servants cards? Regards, Pikachu face. That's Bolden, by the way.
Sus.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably. Obviously we know they have that buff. That mechanic exists in the system because of that Saber buff where she can make all of her cards Buster cards forever. Not forever, but you know what I mean. It's a thing. Plus, there are now multiple servants who can switch their NP card type. So, it's possible. That sounds much more like a weird event buff gimmick, right? Like, equip this CE, get all arts cards for one turn or something. You know? Some kind of, or like how they did, the Onigashima raids and stuff, you know? Eat the blue pill, get arts cards.
Nom.
I don't, other than giving you a skill, which obviously lets you do that buff anyway, I don't think a servant could ever do that unless, like I said, it was a inherent scripted story buff. But yeah, no, I could see it as a hypothetical mechanic in an event. I don't think it would be permanent, other than, like I said, they may end up with servants like Saber who can just make all of their command cards a certain type. I don't think they've got, it doesn't seem like they have the mechanical backing where you could literally pick your starting hand, you know? Like,
That would require some
you would need a new UI element, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think so. But we do have Shuffle, and we do have the ability to change card colors, so it's entirely possible they could play with those.
And lock.
And lock, yeah. You can lock in your command hand as well. So, to do it right away, I don't know if they've got, like, the interface elements for it, but there's enough combos of interesting things that play with the card hand that we can actually work with. I know that there are, because this is what the buffed version of Summer Bunny Artoria does, is she actually yeets one of her own command cards when she shuffles. So there could hypothetically be a servant who could be like as a skill pop could like remove all their cards from a hand and replace them, you know? Kind of similar to how we have servants who tactic switch and stuff. There's definitely something to play there, but that literal example I do not think would work, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright, so, yeah. No, I don't think I have, I think that's it. So we'll move on. So thank you very much for that. We move on to our next one. Dave, Lord Akfalsare. I don't know how to pronounce that. If I butchered it, I do not apologize. You're the one doing this to me.
I don't remember what you're supposed to do with an umlaut.
I don't.
Is it a long A? Fra?
Falsare? I don't know. Anyway. They say, is there anything you hope to see in the next few Lost Belts? I thought it might be interesting to see where a Lost Belt, where all the citizens are warned about why we've come there. Honestly, I don't really necessarily, like, I think my more hopes for Lost Belts are more characters rather than events. I think it's the best way to say. It's like, yeah, let me see, like, something from X, or let me, meet someone from B.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of merit to the character base, because, again, I talked about having a discussion about temporal mechanics and stuff. This got us down a rabbit hole talking about Lost Belt 3, because I actually, now that 4 are out, I think Lost Belt 3 is the only Lost Belt where its alternate historyness actually matters and is discussed. Because, like, it's actually a plot point about how Mothman went on his own route when it came to the tech tree and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in Lost Belt 1, everybody is magical furries, so their technology is all, basically Mystic Code based, and then there's no technology in Lost Belt 2. People just live in tiny, isolated villages and stuff, and it's only when we actually get to 3 we actually see a lot of interesting engagement with, like, the tech, and then 4 just goes back to, like, nah,
like, you didn't develop.
4 is much more about the like, a lot of them have to do with the mechanics and setup of the setting. Only one of them actually gives a shit about history. Like, they all have divergence points, so I'm actually quite interested to see what they do with 5, in those terms, but yeah, no, like, I definitely think that character building is more important than world building. Because, like, obviously we need a reason why a Lost Belt is a Lost Belt, alternate timeline, but again, so far all the Lost Boats we've run into have had a very clear illustration of why it sucks here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yes. So, we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Buster. And they say, do you have a new servant whose My Room voice lines that you really enjoyed? I found myself even more in love with Mori after listening to his. Smiley face. Ellipses? Congrats to Omega for pulling Nobu, and the best of luck to you on both on your GSSR rolls. Oh shit, that is happening too.
I have thankfully saved enough paid courts to do it. Thankfully, it's also 15 this year. I don't remember what the cheapo math is there, but it exists.
I probably have to pull out my wallet, but it's fine. I'm probably gonna have to fucking do it anyway. But
I have to figure out what hell I'm gonna roll into, though. I think it's 2 separate chambers this year.
Mm-hmm.
Knights and then cavalry plus extras in various slots. I gotta figure out what hell I want to roll on, because all of them contain some bad pulls.
Lucky as fuck no matter what he does. I'm gonna roll another Vlad. I fucking am, and I'm gonna break my phone in half.
I mean, the thing then is just roll knights, but I'm sure that has something else equally awful.
I'll get a fucking MP6 Artoria.
You'll get the USO. Game over. Oh, it's only limited? Okay.
Oh, really?
Well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good
that's
feature.
good.
I'm glad for that we're keeping to that. Yeah, so that's pretty good. All right. Even
Okay,
so,
well.
I have some bad limiteds. I think in good conscience I can't roll on knights, I think is what I came to, because that could be NP4 Summer Tamamo or even NP3 Aresh would probably be a little bit of a disappointment on GSSR. Well, Lucky's phone is broken if a permanent shows up.
Yeah, just done. Oh no, watch. Oh, you know, be the most hilarious thing if I got a permit on a regular before I got the GSSR.
Rip.
That'd be a rip.
But all right, My Room lines. I haven't cycled through anybody new in My Room in a little bit. I haven't had the free time. I should check out the Gudaguda gang. I bet
I
they're
should
fun.
too. I should too. I think the most recent one who I heard their lines, I'm like, oh no, I love them. It's kind of a cop out because that was probably Kama. And like I've already said, like, no, it's all like I love her. I was like, girl, you don't have to do any fucking like hypnosis bullshit. You got me. And her lines just kind of reinforce that. But yeah, no, I haven't necessarily checked out any lines from the new Gudaguda gang. I should. I got plenty of them.
And of course, you know, with we have 3 sets of lines to cycle through because the animal people.
They are. I was looking at them. Fuck, all of them have like multiple level up lines too. I was like, why?
Yeah, I mean, like there's definitely some freaky stuff. Like something you may want to check out, Lucky. I cannot because my Ganesh is currently NP0. But you can actually like get bond lines and stuff with statue Ganesha, and like she has unique lines at higher bond levels of like, why have you not let me out of the rock yet? Kind of stuff. It's probably pretty funny.
No, I'm like I said, Ganesha's on my list. Like I said, my leveling. I'm trying to keep my servants to level at a net 0.
Yeah, I gotta go. I really need do we not have subtitles?
No, we don't.
Ups?
No,
wow,
we have them.
I just thought we do. I just don't.
We have them for Ascensions.
Okay. I guess my passable shitty Japanese, my Kuso Japanese is good enough. I can understand most of the level up lines because a lot of them are just Yahoo. Yeah, I need that half AP again because I managed to chip away a few, but then I rolled we got a welfare and then I rolled 2 new servants on this banner. So there's a lot of work that needs doing still. I got a William Tell to crack on. I got all kinds of stuff. My Asclepius, yes, I think Asclepius is Max Ascension. I think I talked about that last week. Got a lot of stuff to work on. Got Mori's fun. We'll talk about so you didn't get that 5-star later.
But we will keep going. So thank you very much. This next one comes from a man who's fulfilled his mission. He said, "Hey there, Warlord Lucky and Chief Retainer Omega." We switched it. Hope conquering Japan has been going smoothly for you too. This week I have my own records for the firm to share. So after around 9 months of saving, 1.3 state courts, and 150 tickets. Wow. I can say that my Mount Nobu is currently MP3 and already level 100, 10, 10, 10 on skills and 2k on foes. Guess you can say that I like her a bit. Other than that, I also got MP5 Zerk Nobu, a Bradamante Spook, and a couple other SRs, the most interesting being an MP2 Locked Me by Prince of Ling Ling, and I forgot how to... Chin. On you. Although, speaking of Lancers, I obviously also got Kagura from the event, and I'm not gonna lie, both her gameplay and characters fascinate me. Got a bit of scared. First, because she's giving off those yandere vibes, but after seeing her backstory, I definitely warmed up to her quite a bit and wish to give her a head pat or two. Anyways, This was way longer than I intended to be, but I can hope that both of you are doing fine and wishing everyone the best of time during the event. P.S. If anyone wants a strong Nobu or MLB event CDs, I'll leave my friend code here, 444-387-239, Winky Face.
Winky face. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, good for you, my dude. You saved, and you did the thing.
Yeah, no, powerful.
That takes a lot of dedication. Hell, even my own most anticipated servants, I can't stockpile the EXPs and foes for the most part to immediately level them. Good job. Also, yes, Kagetora is interesting.
Yeah, no, I like it too. And honestly, like, I do want to give shout-outs, because, Takayoshi did do something interesting with her eyes that made them just a little bit wider than usual, so she always kind of has that creep face going on.
Crazy eyes, watching you. I know immediately what emote this is, even though it's paused.
But
no, that's right. I was wrong. I thought this would be the eyes one, not just cycling through her.
But yeah,
there it is. There's the eyebrow one. There it is.
But Takayoshi did something interesting with her eyes, basically just making the whites more prominent, so it kind of always has that, thing.
Yeah, she always has a slight wide-eyed look. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic trick of the illustration.
But we shall move on. Excuse me. This next one comes from the guy on black shirt. What? Anyways.
On a black shirt?
Are you on a black shirt? Cool.
Are you trapped on a shirt? Do you need help? Is this a new Nintendo RPG? Shirt Man.
Make me think of a Link Between Worlds.
Anyway, they have a question.
Hey, look, Omega. I hope you're doing well and having a great time in the event. For my question is, are you planning another limited 3-star Wanted?
I can answer this one. No, because they didn't do well. You didn't watch them, guys. I'm sorry. Like, well, I don't know if it's because I heard this from another person that YouTube's algorithms are weird if your videos are like 2 different lengths from each other. That's kind of annoying, if true. But the Arjuna Altar one did pretty good for Wanted this year, but did not blow the fuck up like, say, Scotty did. No, the 3-star ones did really, really bad. Like, not a lot of people watch them. So, no, I have no future plans for that. We will probably continue to do big summer blowouts where we don't do any lore and we just, smash all the servants on the banner for mechanics. But, yeah, that kind of be how it is. Yes, I appreciate those of you who watch them, but, there's a lot out there.
Honestly, we'll probably just talk about Nobukatsu during Gudaguda 5.
Yeah, we'll probably just talk about him naturally, because he's technically not... He's not limited in the normal sense, because he's in the front point gacha, but he's not a welfare... We'll talk something. Probably not a standalone video, but we'll get there. Lucky and I already have to fight about who gets to shoot Wanted Himiko, though.
Man, if I'm gonna do Himiko, though, I'm gonna have to do it a year in advance, though. Fuck. I'm horrible at this.
Anyway.
There's
your answer.
There's your answer. We're moving on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Sensua's Love, Sensua's Life, who says, Ahoy! Just wanted to drop by and say congrats to you both on your Mal rolls. I know Lucky was pretty lucky, and I can see Omega on support. I hope it didn't break your bank. Cheers. Listen, I had to spend money. I don't consider that lucky. I really don't. I spent $265, and then whatever quartz I had on hand, and then 11 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, the ticket thing is arguably lucky, but no, that was way after some other shit.
Yeah, no, because
Mao has been on my support list since the beginning. I'm sorry she's 777 and she's level 87, but SSRs are expensive, okay, guys? And I ran out of the double suck time.
I'm gonna have to fight my way through. My Mao should be done by tonight. That's what I'm hoping for.
At the very least, because she's an Avenger with extra class mats, it was easy to go to 777. Just farm the event more, X. This thing's great for QP. Just farm free quests.
Just do the 10 AP ones. They're really fucking fast.
Yeah, no, this is an incredibly bullshit good event for QP. All right, well, catch up the story. The time gate unlocks tonight, though, but it's pretty. So for 10 AP, 20k, plus if you plus extra provisions, you can sell back from her QP later. This is a good event for QP. I'm glad it's gonna give me some insulation before anniversary. I got a lot of people to level.
So,
hell, if I can get my servants in order, I think I need to huck at least a couple of grails at Python over the anniversary. Is it tomorrow night? I guess it is tomorrow night, because it says 1 day left, not less than 24 hours. But yeah, it's still soon. You've got a slightly over 24-hour-ish period to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But this event is surprisingly rewarding. I've managed to get through it by only spending a very small amount of apples. Usually silver ones get you there. It's pretty good. Anyway, we have more questions. Who's next?
Who's?
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Yep. This one comes from Willy Wonka, who says, "Can you guys explain why Melty Blood is always associated with bathroom and hallways? I'm curious. Please give me a better understanding."
Okay. So neither Lucky or I have first-hand experience with this.
What are you talking about? I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, no. This still happens at fucking cons.
Well, yeah, but I've seen the pictures anyway of specifically people setting up Melty Blood in bathrooms and hallways. I do actually think though, if you say that's just in general fighting game stuff and cons, but it's not necessarily okay. So basically, the story is as well as I remember, basically during one of the fighting game tournaments / conventions, Melty Blood didn't have a fucking slot, and people weren't allowed to necessarily play it out in the open. So they would go basically into the bathroom and just hold a Melty Blood tournament there. Mm-hmm. I also do believe that because it's got a simpler art style, I believe you can run like OG Melty Blood on potatoes and toasters.
Yeah,
is also why. So it's a very approachable game. So no, literally people be out in the hallways, they be in the bathrooms playing Melty Blood. We'll see if the next one catches on. It's relatively soon, I think, release on it. They had a bunch of promo stuff.
Type Moon Volume 3 actually featured it. I didn't actually I don't have any details to share about it, but no, it was good. But no, if you go to cons nowadays, there are seriously people who have laptops with controllers and stuff who will just set up anywhere and just play Melty Blood. I saw a lot. This is what I was talking about. I had experiences. It wasn't in the bathroom, but just waiting in lines for events at cons, people just pull out the laptops who's ready for some Melty Blood? And there'll always be people who be yes.
That's the power of Melty Blood. It is truly one of those underground style franchises where you could just yell out Melty Blood and somebody will be like, "I'll fight you." Whereas I bet if you went to a crowded room of people and yelled, "Hey, anybody want to play some Mortal Kombat or anybody want to play some Street Fighter?" You'd get some people who'd be like, "No, I don't play that one."
Comes out September 30th. Okay, I might pick it up. I like fighting games. I'm not.
Fighting games, yeah.
Here's the thing. I like fighting games, but I guess again, I'm not good at them, and I hate it when people won't shut up about them. I'm looking at you, games chat. You know what you're about.
Yes, I feel similarly. I am okay at fighting games. I played the P4 games online a little bit against people, and I occasionally won, but...
Oh, by the way, I just got a copy of a physical copy of P4 Arena. I actually found it. I was like, yes, mine.
Ooh, nice.
See if I can find Golden. And I also just bought Dead or Alive 5 and 6.
I have my P4 lying around here somewhere. But what I bought was Gaben slipped my wallet.
Oh shit, that's right, the sale's going on. Yeah. No.
You've got until after July, but I got an email from Steam which was like, this game and 25 other games on your wish list are on sale, and I'm like, oh no. And then I opened it up and I'm like, oh no, these sales are huge. I'll talk about that more on WhatsApp tomorrow. I got some shit. One thing I know that for people who are fans of our type of content and a lot of our mythology stuff, it's not a huge sale, but Hades is on sale for 25% off. Check it out. But there's a lot of shit that's super marked down. I think Portal 2 was 99 cents. It's nuts. I tweeted out the gif of the wallet attack, and then I just tweeted out later, Gaben comes for us all. But alright.
Okay, I gotta close name. Gotta close name. Okay. Don't look, Lucky!
Save that for after I have to do Teach Me.
Yeah.
I'll be here for a little bit. You'll have some free time.
Alright, so thank you very much for that. I hope we at least explained it a little bit. We move on to Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Earthbound Terra Omega and Time Management Manager Lucky. What were some of the small things that got a laugh out of you? Mine was Majin Saber and her packed lunch. P.S. Hope you all have a fantastic Gudaguda. Listen, there are a lot of things that made me chuckle in this event. This event writing was great.
This event is a great event. Yeah, no, it's good. There's all kinds of things.
So we're going to put a pin in this, and we'll probably just talk about this at length when we actually get into the Gudaguda discussion, alright?
Yeah,
just hold on
Lucky and I are both at the time gate, so we can fully talk about the first half of the event and our impressions and stuff.
I will say this right now, though, Kagatora's and Yaz give me life.
Yeah. Nana Mizuki is Kagatora's VA, isn't she?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So, we are having a fantastic Gudaguda, and I hope you are too. But with that, we move on. This next one comes from I am the chair for my Nobu. I am the ground for Sith to walk upon. Unlimited Simp Works. Who says, "Greetings, gentlemen. My question is, what servant originally got you into playing FGO? I've seen so many people on the Nobu Aniplex videos saying that she is what got them into playing.
All of them? This is a weird question, because we started playing at launch.
Yeah, like, honestly, like I said, like, yeah, no, I can't, like, I won't say any particular servant got me into it. Like, once I got into it and started really thinking, I zeroed in on Tamamo. I was all like, oh no, Evil Fox Wife, I'm here.
Like,
So
I always knew that I was a big fan of, say, like, Mordred and the fact that Rin would be playable later, but, like, I was also already like, this game's never gonna come out. Oh shit, it is coming out? Fuck, I'm there. I love Fate stuff, and at the time, I was pretty used to it taking a while for it to come to the West.
Yeah.
So, no, I was actually super hyped they decided to release it. I was just excited for getting more Fate shit over here.
Also, I do want to shout this out. If you love Nobu content, you guys should really go watch or listen to the Gudaguda drama CD. It is fucking hilarious. I listen to it on a semi-regular basis, and you can actually catch some. This event actually has some callouts to it. It's kind of great. Let's see here. We're gonna move on. This next one comes from Shion. I was gonna put something witty here, but then my brain stopped working. I know this pain. This happened to me today. I was actually at work. I'm trying to get my numbers, but I'm thinking about fucking doing this Wanted, and I feel like I just didn't have my right arm. I'm like, what am I doing right now?
I get that feeling a lot about a lot of things. I realize I'm like halfway through writing something, and I've started pacing around my room, but also I've got like food cooling on my table, and I'm like, oh fuck, I need to eat. Stop working on the project, me eat.
I say, hello, Lucky Omega. Hope all is well. With Annie 4 on the horizon, what would you like something for the Lightworks to implement in the current NA or future JP? Stay awesome. Current NA or...
We've answered this question a lot about quality of life stuff. What was the most recent one? There was definitely something that was bothering me the other day, and I'm like, we should get this update, but I can't remember it right now.
Do you know something that I want back? Do you know something that I genuinely, honestly want back? Cookies in fucking event shops.
Yeah, that's call that quality of life. I would love to have better access to skill cookies. I know that there are lottos, but that's only like twice a year. It's too spread out. Like literally earlier this show, I lamented that I am out of Lancer gems, and yes, I could beat up dailies, but I need to beat up dailies for hands and embers, and then you usually need to beat up for whatever. Well, Tyranno King, that's because you're a monster who plays lottos all day, but that's like exactly 2 weeks of my life, and I actually, honestly, neither Lucky or me have the ability to go that ham for like a week straight. Like, it's just, I can't do it. I need my rewards spread out, okay?
Like, cause I'm not dumb. I'm not like misremembering. Didn't they used to do that? Like year one, they would have cookies.
Oh yeah, no, you used to be able to buy skill cookies in some shops. Same as you can still buy statues, thank God, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm just like, where did that go? Why did they stop doing this? Bring it back.
That would be a great quality. If not putting them in shops, just give me more ways to get them.
Yeah.
I mean, pieces and monuments are still good. I need to get the Archer silver statues from the shop because I realized I have 50 of those, and I'm like, oh fuck, if I roll another Archer, that's gonna be like all of my statues. That's gonna be embarrassing. But still, like, skill cookie access would be great. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. I think the only thing I can consistently remember complaining about is upgrade daily embers or add a new daily ember quest tier that drops 5 stars, please.
Please.
5-star EXPs are good, and they're too rare. You put them in the game, please put them in more places. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye!
Hell, fuck. I mean, you guys have like 3 levels of currency. You do like 2 sets in the shop. Put them in shops. Put 5-star EXPs in shops. Go nuts. Live a little. Man, that's a lot.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah,
we are... Let's see, how much time we got left? We got 29 minutes left. We are moving right along, and this next one is from To Be or Not To Be. I'm always for To Be. You can't stop me. I will fist Android. Let's see here. They say, hey, Lucky Omega, hope your day is going well. Who do you think Demon King Nobu has a better chance of getting along with between, Altria, a Gilgamesh, or a Skander? Me? Hands down a Skander.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Skander as well. Nobu's way too loosey-goosey progressive to get along with Artoria, and, being, calling herself Dairoku Tenmao way too egotistical to exist in the same room as Gilgamesh.
But at the same time, not egotistical enough.
Right.
Like, Ozymandias.
Gil would just be like, who are you saying you're better than heaven? Hoopst. And Nobu would be like, I have guns?
But no, actually thinking about it, both Nobu, Like, for all Nobu's fault, Nobu was actually a very charismatic leader, progressive in thinking, was not necessarily a dick to his enemies unless he got really pissed off. Then he was an absolute dick to his enemies.
I think it's fair to say that a lot like Iskandar, Nobu tried, especially with high-level retainers, to bring people over to his side or spare them where possible for the political game, but at certain points had to be just like, okay, no, this is not a situation you can talk your way out of. We do the stabs now.
Yeah, I think he like pardoned Mitsuhide. Was it Matsuhide? I can't remember. The fucking guy who had the teapot he wanted, then blew up his fucking castle so Nobu couldn't get it. Yes, this literally happened.
Yeah, exploding teapots. I mean, for sure, we talked about this, I think, on air earlier, but Tokugawa Ieyasu was on the enemy side for a while before Nobunaga captured him and was like, hey, you're pretty cool. You're on my side now. And Ieyasu, not being a fucking moron, was like, this is fine.
Yeah,
it's perfectly alright.
It was actually mentioned a little bit in the Ibe. Shibata Katsui was someone who actually rebelled against Nobunaga during the clan succession crisis.
Yeah, sided with Nobunaga's younger brother, and then Nobu was like, I see you are a steadfast and loyal retainer. I shall pardon you. It's all right.
I'm good.
So, yeah, no, there's some interesting stuff there.
Mm-hmm. But
and we know that Alexander the Great had a similar cult of personality, as evidenced by the fact that after he died, unfortunately, on the way back from the Indus River, his empire immediately exploded.
I mean, that's kind of how fucking Nobunaga happened too. Ugh, good times. But yeah, solid question. I like it. Thank you very much. We're gonna move on. Moon is happy that she got her first copy of Mori so soon. Anyways, after feeding him grails and lore, now she awaits a chance to get him to MP5 soon. Oh, you fed him grails. Wow. Is Mori that good? Or you just love Mori that much? He is a character. Mori's that character I just go, oh, you, as he's covered in blood again.
Yeah.
Maybe his.
Well, I mean, when you can't help but love a character who, when you're about to get your head punched off by an assassin, he just jumps out of the way and says, you can't assassinate my master. You're not allowed to do that. Bonk.
I swear, Mori's just a fucking dog. He's just a big dog. I have to constantly tell him to heal, but he just has so much energy. He's great.
I mean, considering his obsession with presenting heads, he's very similar to Ushiwaka in that way. They probably get along great.
Oh, there was actually a question of this.
Yeah.
Hey there, Lucky Omega. What do you think of the Yakuza games? I'm currently excited to play the sequel to the spin-off game, Judgment by the same dev team, which is coming out this year. This is not FGO related, but it's fine. I love the Yakuza games. I genuinely, honestly love the Yakuza games. I find them hilarious. The stories are good. Combat is interesting. And, Kazuma Kiryu is the fucking legend.
I like them, or at least I like the bits of the first Kiwami, the first remake that came out, because it was on PS Plus for a month. It's just a very long series that I have not yet had time to put more hours in. But I liked what I've seen. I do think it is interesting that with the latest game, Like a Dragon, they've said that they're sticking to switching to turn-based.
I mean, Like a Dragon's been a success so far, so I think it's fine.
Well, and from looking at clips from that, they did not tone it down by making it go to turn-based.
Yeah, no, they only toned it up. That's the thing, like, usually the Yakuza games has a very serious premise, but everything else is just fucking just weird and crazy and wild.
No, it's a dead-ass serious Yakuza crime drama story where you're, motherfucking Kazuma Kiryu and stuff. Or rather, and then you get bogged down with running hostess clubs and fighting Majima, who comes out of sewer grates and traffic cones like a gremlin, like an eye-patched gremlin. You run into the weird baby club, which is a recurring element. Like, there's all kinds of nonsense. You gotta fight dudes wearing underwear on their heads. Oh, and then some of the environment shit you get up to. Like, I didn't realize this at the time, but I'm fairly certain with as storied as a series it is, Sleeping Dogs absolutely took its environment interaction attacks from Yakuza. Because, like, in that game, you can, like, throw dudes into AC units and stuff, and Yakuza is the same when they're action-based. Like, you could do some nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, beating dudes with mopeds. It's a crazy game series. I would love to have the time, but I do not. I do not have the time. I am already behind on other games I want to play, and also bought like 10 more games.
I was about to suggest we might start working on that Uncharted series soon.
I mean, that would probably be a stream slot, so maybe that'd probably be fine. I don't know what I'm streaming next week. Actually, I gotta think about it.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tony Kaku, I think we have yacked about Yakuza enough. So we move on. This next one comes from Nyago Kagatora, here to ask. Question. Some players just whine and complain about dead game, while others are just concerned about NA being shut down if there's too many players left FGO, because of slower rollout of slower story chapters. I heard one idea that next year doesn't have as much content relative to other years. In 1 year time frame, the Lightworks could theoretically sped up and cram events together just so NA could be 1 year behind in JP and 2 years. What are your thoughts on the pros, cons, and feasibility of it all? I feel being 1 year behind might make it easier to wait, but doesn't seem realistic to achieve.
Okay, so I think we mentioned this one, because I'd read this one before, either in the pre-show or earlier in the show. So, yeah, people talk about dead game or whatever, they leave, and blah, blah, blah. They said that about JP too, and then, Avalon the Fake came out, and they shot from number 28 to number 1 on the profits chart, so, like, FG is fine. But also, so I want to pitch it to you this way, audience and person who wrote this question in. People say, oh, next year's run out of content, or the year after that's run out of content. Hey, did you know that right now we are in a period where in JP the dearth of content had just ended? This year in FGO was actually pretty slow after, I want to say, like after OQ? Like after OQ it was very slow. Have you felt like the past month was slow, Lucky?
Not really.
No, yeah. No, this was the tail end of a slow period for FGO. No, it's not that. Because our anniversary is a whole ass month early, NA has to do a lot of work to crunch stuff up and move things together faster. We will probably not see any kind of serious slowdown type effect because things can be rolled up. Like, I mean, Summer 4, there'll kind of be a little bit of lag, but not much, because the year wasn't actually that slow after. They were still rolling out events and other things fairly quickly. Also, yes, we'll be fucking dead after Summer 4, because we're gonna have Summer 3 rerun and then Summer 4. You'll be dead. You won't mind anything. But, like, no, like, a lot of stuff will actually be rotated together, and, honestly, I don't even know if, like, thinking about it, if next year, if 22 is actually that slow, like, yes, there were delays and stuff to events because of COVID, the early pandemic stuff, but not really. Like, we still have a chunky story release in the front half of the year. We're going to start introducing main interludes that year. Actually, technically, I think, do we start with main interlude Prison Tower at this anniversary?
I don't remember.
We might. I don't know when, because Prison Tower is the first one. I don't remember when it happens, but it will happen. But there are, like, 2 main interludes early next year. There's, summer events, there's, a wealth of other new stuff, there's, Prison Tower's first, then CCC. Actually, CCC's later, I think. That's after OQ. I think, I don't remember if Merry Christmas, I think, came first. Yeah, I know that. I'm asking, guys, when Prison Tower was. I don't know why you guys are spreading out your thoughts so much. Patron chat's being very slow boat with me. They're running the spinning wheel in their own brains. I don't know when it happened, though. I know what order it happened in, and how. Also, seriously, wasn't? Because the CCC main interlude was after the OQ rerun. Wasn't that way later? That was immediately before Anniversary 5. Was Prison Tower at 19 million downloads? Guys, can you speak in complete sentences? You're just throwing words at me, and I'm like, I have no context for what statement I am saying this relates to. Please use your 400, or actually, no, it's like 2,000 is the character limit? Use your character limit, guys, on Discord, please. Anyway, I'm going to continue and ignore them for a couple minutes until they get their thoughts sorted out. But what I was going to say was that because our drift up, and because content has to come before Anniversary for banners, like, hypothetically, if they don't release any new SSRs on the new banners for Avalon the Fae, that could come later, but they probably will, so that means we have to get all of that out of the way. Will we even have a time block? Probably, because they have a lot of free weeks, but, like, we will not have to wait as long, I am dead certain, for the second half of Lost Belt 6, right? It just won't work, So many gap weeks and stuff will be filled up, and what you think would be dead weeks will be filled with shit like this King Hassan banner, right? Where, like, oh, well, something anime or manga related released during this week that didn't release that week in JP, so we get it early. Like, it's going along. Okay, so Prison Tower will be Summer 3 this year. Okay, so it's not Anniversary, it's a little bit after that. But yeah, there's multiple main interludes next year. Some people have said that hypothetically may end up with something like a 1.5. I don't think we're gonna go there. It feels like Albert and even Kano Yoshiki over at Delightworks, have talked about how they plan on keeping pace with JP in that sense and not speeding things up. Obviously, we have to trim time and compress time, but no, I don't actually think we need to speed things up. And if you want to know what the cons are look at Magia Record, which was a Delightworks game, I believe, that Aniplex did translate and had to shut down over here because they rolled out way too fast. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the generalness of this take. Story releases do get a little sparse, but not that sparse, Lost Belt 5 Part 1 is this December, and then early next year is Part 2, and then we have to wait until the end of next year for Lost Belt 5.5, but we still have a lot of events that come in there. There's the next Gudaguda in the October slot, there's more Lotto events, there's, summer and summer reruns. We can probably have the Requiem collab event on time. Does this mean if they'll actually release Requiem over here? Who knows? OQ rerun will be next year. Like I said, we'll be adding Merry Christmas from the Underworld and CCC to main interludes, which basically make them... Good?
19 million download is when Merry Christmas from the Underworld gets added to main interlude, by the way.
Yeah, I figured that out from when people randomly yelled that at me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the 19 million downloads, which is some ways away. I don't even know what million downloads event we're on right now. But those are being added to main interlude. When they are actually added, they rerun the event basically for like a week or so. So that's basically like a third rerun of those two events right there. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. Yeah, we have. It's not really 4.5, but we have Lost Sea Excursion and stuff like that. Like there's plenty of content that we will not feel as much of a lag as JP did, because I don't feel like we felt the lag before Lost Belt 4 this year, because everything got moved up. It was a rough couple of like a whole month where basically nothing happened, in JP. But those are my thoughts. Lucky, do you have any commentary on this situation?
Not really, because you've talked a lot on this, and I want to move on to more questions. We only got 14 minutes left.
All right. Sorry I talked so much, but I had a lot of thoughts about when I saw this one.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of people in chat had a lot of thoughts, too. I had to take
you did. But I will shout out last thought Mount Nobu is now level 90, and I put her 111 on my support with a fucking damage CE, so go nuts. So, we shall move on. The next one comes from Mooncell Master having tea with a bunch of battle nuts from Japan. They say, Nobunaga the Lucky, full of horny, and Omega, Demon King of the Dice Table. My question for you this time is simple. Which of the Nobunaga in this event has been your favorite Nobu? Have a very Nobu day. Nobu. Real deal Nobunaga. I died. I literally died.
That's a very fun one, yes. Especially when they call him real deal. Do you want to bet in the Japanese that was like Honto Nobunaga?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the true Nobunaga, the real thing. I would say probably the best is not actual Demon King Nobunaga, but Infantryman Nobunaga after she becomes Demon King Nobunaga. Because then she gets to be, cool, super tall Nobu, but also be Chaldea's Nobu.
It's like, damn, I'm hot.
Did you guys shrink? No, I grew. Everything about me grew.
No, it's pretty great. Also, shout out to Big Nobu. You didn't get a lot of screen time, but you're the bestest too.
No.
So, thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Ann Literate. Listen, you only use Ann when there's the vowel sound at the beginning. That bumped into Meld in a dark alley and lost an eye. You did it right on the second one? Question. Are there any servants beside Lilith from the Bible that you'd like to see? I personally like to see St. Jude Thaddeus, patron saint of lost causes. Big smiley face? I write this at 11:59 on Friday. I hope this gets the mailbag on time. Man, that's right. That reminds me. Lucky needs to become a patron saint of something. I'm just going to declare it and no one will be able to say I can't be. Cain and Abel would be interesting. They would have to be a fucking pair, and you can't have Cain without Abel. Biblical figures?
The cheap shot is Solomon.
Yeah.
Which I will take because I'm not super not always been shored out with a lot of my vehicle lore. Though, to be fair, they did mention, I don't actually think Lilith or St. Jude were actually in the Bible. Lilith is a construct from earlier Jewish texts.
Yep.
And while St. Jude is very famous as the patron saint of lost causes, among many, many other things that I believe is later. Yeah, you could do Noah. Boat.
I was about to say Noah, yeah.
Boat.
And, fuck it, I'll take a cheap shot. Give me the Beast of Revelation. There we go. Biblical figures acquired. Moving on. This next one comes from King of Apples, who just wanted some event CEs, but now has to grant out 3 more servants. That's how it'll be, yo. Question. Let's see here. Since Type Mercury, Ort, passively changes the world texture around it, does that mean the trees are somehow related to the ultimate ones? They have galaxies inside them, so maybe they're related to astronomical bodies. There's supposed to be an ultimate one of the Ort cloud. Maybe that's the true identity of the foreign god. Man, I don't know.
Also, I would want to talk to Nasu if there's an ultimate one of the fucking Ort cloud and the Kuiper belt. I would be like, what the fuck, dude? That's like 10 million objects. Come on. Is there an ultimate one of Saturn's rings? Is there an ultimate one of the asteroid belt? What are you doing, Nasu? What are you doing? If you don't know, the Ort cloud and the Kuiper belt are the rings of space junk and crap that lie beyond the orbits of Pluto and stuff that are just hanging out there. There's just random junk in space.
Basically, it wasn't the stuff that wasn't able to get fully caught in our system creation and just kind of hangs out on the edge.
Yeah, it's like trapped in the sun's gravity well, so it can't go anywhere. It's outside of, I believe they call that region of space heliopause is the like termination shock of the system. But yeah, trans-Neptunian objects, the Kuiper belt, Oort cloud, lots of stuff out there. Whereas the asteroid belt is almost assuredly formed of bits of planets that tried to form and did smash into each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's some very interesting, actually, asteroids with planetary geology in them. Like, I think V-type asteroids like Vesta actually have, like, geological stratification, like they used to be a planetary body and then aren't.
I mean,
space is nuts, y'all.
It makes me... I give thanks every day I'm alive, because there's a lot of random happenstance that had to happen for us to be here right now. It's a little crazy
God
to
forbid,
think about.
We could be Mars or Venus, which were both of which were habitable at some point and then aren't.
Yeah, they're not in the Goldilocks range.
Both of them suck butts a lot. I actually think Venus is probably technically on the inner edge of the habitable zone. It just has that runaway greenhouse effect, which sucks ass.
And acid. Lots of acid.
Yeah. Volcanoes do that. Planetology. Anyway, let's not talk about space yet.
We can talk about space later. So, moving on! Thank you very much! The next one comes from Sako Esquire 07, who says, "Hey, Lucky Omega, hope you two are feeling better. Question. Is there a particular historical figure that Fate hasn't touched on that would you like to have as a servant? For me, with Guda 4 being based on the Sengoku era, I thought it'd be nice to have Date Masamune been added. But since he's behind a break glass for a new Guda servant... perhaps he's behind a break glass for a new Guda servant. Lucky, hope you're feeling better, and hopefully your Scoodle is fixed. It's not. Hopefully sooner than later. It's definitely going to be later. And Omega, you'll have some wins in the future.
I'll try.
Let's hope 4th anniversary GSSR gives us what we want, and hope Da Vinci Writer can help us farm things. Stay awesome no matter what rolls your way, and to paraphrase a hopeful person, sometimes the only things we can do is wait and hope.
Le temps d'espérer. The reason why Lucky chuckled there is because in the pre-show, we were talking about really cool characters and Sengoku stuff, and I was like, I'm shocked they haven't brought out Date Masamune. I don't think they've really mentioned him, because he's kind of a baller.
He is baller, but he's post-Nobunaga.
Yeah, for the most part. But yes, he's still kind of a big fucking deal. But no, you're probably absolutely correct. That is a break glass in case of servant.
But, other historical figures... I like Japan a lot.
There's a lot of good ones there.
Like...
I think I should honestly... Sorry to cut you off there. I should probably opt out of this question because I have a long list of characters because I do this thing called Fanservant Friday. I have a long list of people, historical and fictitious, I want in this game.
I'm the same, but more on the fictional level. Actual historical?
I mean, filthy casual, you joke about Godzilla, but one, I know Nasu loves at least Shin Godzilla, and I think he likes other Godzilla movies, as evidenced by how Babylonia went. But, like, Godzilla's like the 50s, he's kind of the archetypal kaiju. That could be a thing. You know they like kaiju movies. Anyway. Sorry, Lucky, you were saying?
I really do. Fuck it, let's bring in Machiavelli. That could be fun. That nerd.
Phantasm the Prince.
Mm-hmm. He could be a caster. Or he could be an Avenger. He was spicy about some people.
No. That dinosaur is a dragon, Robin, don't you know? Dragon. Also a lady under there. She's clearly a woman in a T-Rex costume. I'm very sad Kyokoyo is not more popular in Japan. They probably won't give her a lot of emphasis. Right. I'll roll, damn it.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna get like 3 Voyagers, and I'm gonna be slightly upset.
Space.
Because I do approve of Shotos, and I do approve of space, but at the same time, I'm just all like, but I know. Anyway, actually, let me check the time here. We got 4 minutes. This next one comes from a melting Mothra taking solace inside of an air-conditioned statue. Kinky. Salutations, Omega and Lucky. Really enjoying Gudaguda 4 thus far. Hope you each are as well. Query. Someone actually used query. 2 weeks ago, there was a discussion on how effective the Corruptors were at playing the game, and I had a different recollection in regards to Ophelia. Her tree was doing amazingly well to the point of having seeds. We simply did not see it open because it was eaten while hidden by Sutor. Or Sutor. Is it Sutor?
There should be an extra R in there. Surtur.
Surtur. Ah, that's why I messed it up. And it was thus replanted, much weaker than it was prior. There has been some discourse between her and Scotty, but in this respect, I believe things are going according to plan. I might be incorrect in doing so, feel free to shred me up on air, but I wanted to clear my wriggling doubt. Regardless, the questions of the Cryptos and Alter Ego's allegiance to the Foreign Guard are fair and valid. Looking forward to the curtain slowly peeling back. Until then, may fate for you into the future henceforth.
I suppose that is true. While it was hidden, Ophelia's tree was so strong that it was seeded, but also it was known, though, that I do believe it was canon that Scotty's territory was not expanding, right?
Right.
Just the tree was being matured by her magical energy or whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, and I kind of feel that, with Ophelia, I kind of felt like she would probably have burnt herself out before she actually got anywhere.
I mean, she definitely had that workaholic vibe, right? Like, that was kind of her problem, was that she was all work, no play. All work, no play makes Ophelia a dull girl.
And, with her absolute loyalty to Kashuk, like the moment, they would have touched tip, she'd be like, I give. So, no, technically, I guess I can't say she was doing poorly, but I do believe she was doomed to fail.
Yes, she definitely would not have, quote-unquote, won the game. It is an interesting note, because we definitely haven't fought seeds after, even though it turns out that Arjuna's tree was quite mature, being able to, explode into space and stuff.
Nice.
But also, I don't know if we ever adequately explained how the fuck the seeds work. Like, the seeds were, shot at us like seeking missiles, where we were doing things that were gonna fuck up the Lost Belt, I think. We don't actually know how those work. They just kind of showed the fuck up to fight us out of nowhere, and honestly, even calling them seeds was pure speculation by Da Vinci. She was like, I guess they're like the tree, so they're like seeds? I don't fucking know. Do I look like Sherlock to you?
Sherlock is just like, I'm dying.
Sherlock in the corner is just like, oh, my bones. Oh.
My hubris!
No more trying to punch heroes. It's not good. Yeah, no. It's an interesting question, and it's a good observation because it is unique. But also, I mean, call me a little jaded, but it might be unique just because all the future and past writers have forgotten about the seed things and never bothered to explain it or bring it up again. We're gonna have some conversation later, because like I said, I did some research into Prisma, and for one thing, Prisma mangaka is very explicit about how he doesn't give a fuck about continuity, and he's writing the story he's writing. So if shit's weird, you were warned. Which I think is the most astonishing, explicit call out to people versus how we usually have this implicit conversation about canon. More Fate authors should just be like, listen, we don't know the fucking canon. Nasu doesn't know anything. We just had this conversation about if Nasu thinks there's an ultimate one of the Oort Cloud, which is like a bajillion tiny objects, he is smoking something, and I want some of it.
Thanks.
But yeah, no, it was a good question. All right, how's the timer?
How's the timer? Just ended.
All right, well, that's the cutoff. We have a decent number left over. Some people asked there were a couple of chunky questions this week. All right, let's see the mission clock. We are pretty exactly at about an hour 30, so that's pretty good. In that case, before we move on to free talk, let's take a brief intermission.
Yay!
And we're back. It was nothing for you, but for us, an eternity. We move on to Chaldea Free Talk. We shall begin with So You Didn't Get That 5-Star Mori edition. Let's jump right into it. So, Mori Nagayoshi over here, the Oni Musashi, continues our trend of limited 3-star servants for the Gudaguda. And he also joins as the first new rare berserker after launch, as far as I can tell. I think all of them were in at launch, all the other 3 stars. It was Lubu, it was Darius, and it was Kiyohime, I think. That's it. That's all there was. So that's pretty neat. In terms of stats, his attack is smack dab in the middle of those guys, but his HP is the lowest of the bunch. But he does at least have a Saber-style quick Arts Buster deck, which is good for variety. I'm fairly certain all the launch berserkers were gorillas. Buster. He has okay hit counts in NP game. It's alright. And honestly, I'm straight up saying his NP gain is only okay, not good. Probably because his NP is actually really nasty. It is a single target buster, which gives him Pierce Invul for the turn. It ignores the enemy's defense, and then it lowers their defense for 3 turns based on overcharge, which is pretty spicy. I mean, just a piercing NP is pretty good that's single target, but also the fact that it ignores defense. That makes him great for a lot of challenge quest nonsense.
Oh man, sneezing. Why?
Careful.
It's good.
It's fine. So yeah, it's a good NP. His first skill is a form of mental corruption. It gives him 50 to 100% crit up for 3 turns. Very good level. It also increases his debuff resistance by 100% for 3 turns. Not gives him immunity, increases his resistance by 100% for 3 turns. So, I believe this means that if enemies have abilities which increase debuff success rate, they can still get you and stuff like that, but it's still pretty spicy. However, this first skill lowers his buff success rate by 100% for 3 turns as a demerit. So always use this skill last. It basically means he will not buff himself. This does mean that his own NP doesn't get Pierce Invul if you use it in that order.
Oh, Jesus.
I would recommend not actually using it on his NP turn because it's not NP steroid, and save it for the turn after. Because his single target buster NP is 5 hit, you will generate some stars off it. His second skill applies an on-hit effect for 3 times 3 turns. Mori gains 10 to 50% attack for 3 turns for each time this stack is used, but he also gets 10% defense down for himself for 3 turns on each hit. I believe that if you did that in that order, he would not get that debuff applied because of his debuff resistance going up. I think that's how that works, but also you wouldn't get the attack bonus, so just don't do that. Don't do that in that order. His final skill gives him a big star absorption, and also gives him an on-death effect for 3 turns. If he dies, you get 20 critical stars. So a pretty good infusion. I think somebody mentioned earlier, there's some Chengong stats here in the future, where you can have him use his 3rd skill and explode to get stars on the follow-up turns. His only passive is Madness Enhancement D, which is why he seems remarkably functional for a Berserker. He's only on the D level. So, Nagayoshi can have some very impressive damage output, but you do have to watch out for his demerits. Even so, if you scored him at NP5, he's a free Buster ST with Pierce and Ignore Defense. It's pretty cool. Like I said, good for challenge quests. It's an interesting case of a servant who has demerits and is clearly designed around them, but he definitely claps pretty hard, like I said. I will not say no to a NP5 damage output on a servant who, like I said, it does Pierce and Ignore Defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. Now it's time for the super long segment where we're going to talk about our first impressions of Gudaguda the 4, aka literally Nobunaga's ambition.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I just want to start this out, very quickly, I realized this is just literally the game Nobunaga's ambition. I was all like, these motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. And in no way does this detract from this event, because this event's fucking good.
No, honestly, I kind of want more events like this. Going around, conquering stuff, gathering resources, recruiting allies. This is great.
Yeah, no, the fact that the resource gain is passive, and then your increase is based on what side quests you do, and even what story quests you complete, really great. I also love how they do the story support thing, like recruiting NPC allies and their specific buffs for challenge quest type shit. It's a really interesting way of locking you out of certain fights or areas, but also not really locking you out because you could always still try and do them, you know?
Yeah, be careful though. There's some of them I'm just like, yeah, they just have
Oh yeah, no, there's some that are brutal if you don't have the right one. I'm glad I didn't try to do the ones that require Medea because she's like the last person you get. But damn, some of those fights were crazy hard. I think there was one where you had super low NP gain that was permanent, but Medea charges your NP gauge by 50% every turn, so you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is an event that benefits from being able to read in English because you can understand the best fit system and stuff, but it's everything's super clean and identified, and what I did was what I recommended to do last week on the pregame, just do all the content I could until I was like, oh, I don't have enough resources for this, or oh, I don't have the right best servant for this setting, and then I just moved on. It was fine.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that is a little sad is that some of the side quests are so, like, exactly tuned to having the right NPC.
Yeah. I don't think that necessarily bothered me too much. I just, left it on the side until I got them. This does mean I had to basically...
It's not, I don't think it was bad for the overall event. It's just that, like, some of them are like, damn, they're crazy high.
Like, honestly, I didn't even, like, if I didn't have it, if it said suited role and I didn't have it, I'm just all like, I'll get back to you later.
Yep.
And I just kept doing other stuff.
No, it's great.
And there was a fair amount of stuff to do, like, between, you take a point and a couple things that pop up around it so you can increase your resources. I'm just like, yeah, no, this is cool. This is great.
Get new points. As you progress the story, you get to recruit new people. There are new free quests that pop up, which obviously you want to do because you're trying to score damage CEs.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I don't think I talked about this earlier. Some of the best nodes are out, yeah. I don't think the part 2 really adds a lot of nodes, but I think you've got the best farming already. At least some of the nodes are the best. But I did get a drop, so I already have all 5. No problem at all. And I bought all the EXPs out of the shop. I'm a little sad that it required drop, but I did get my drop early. But there is a decent wealth of bonus servants to pick from. The only thing is, I gotta say this, please, Delightworks, for the love of God, release another Gudaguda caster, please. Fucking help a brother out. Medea's great, but even with, like, actually, no, because you only give her, like, plus 20% damage or whatever, she can't carry some of these wave clears, guys. If you're gonna do this, you need to, like, do more. Yeah, I know you put in Okita Alter as an alter ego, but she's only 1, and I don't got her. Silver Kachimitsu Hide, please.
You're the man.
Yeah, like, for the love of God, just, I don't even want him as a character that bad, though I do note now that with this event and the last one when he showed up in, Imperial, right? Where I believe he was wearing, like, a suit and had some glasses. He's got some different sprites they could use for Ascensions. But, yeah, no, especially since they clarified that he is a caster canonically. I'm like, yeah, no, just put that motherfucker in this game already so I can have more bonus units. You're killing me.
Yeah, but, like I said, overall mechanics are fun.
Yeah,
the
no,
stories...
this was fun. I loved it. I loved it, especially compared to, we've had some motherfuckers of events. The Gudaguda 3 rerun was awful.
Yeah.
And even OQ was, like, not hard, but very time-consuming, right? Because of the thing we had to move through with not being able to skip every single little node we clicked.
Yeah.
This was just so smooth. But yeah, so story.
So, it starts off in the usual Gudaguda way. Everyone's hanging out in the fucking same room and shit happens. I don't care what everyone says, but the minute I saw that thing, I'm like, this thing looks like a fucking PS4 or something.
Yeah, it does. It's shaped like a PS4. That may even, because this was 2 years ago in JP, that may even have been the joke, because it is a game console. It's running a simulation.
Yeah, no. But, people find it, they think it's cool, they want to open it, so they start attacking it.
Nothing works.
Nothing works. And it's great. It's like, I do find it hilarious that even in, Chaldean Novum, they still decide to settle near the boiler room for some ungodly reason.
It's warm,
I don't know what...
Fresh water for the tea.
They do drink a lot of tea. But... yeah, everyone's there. Okita, Hijikata, Chacha, Nobu. Little Okita was out getting a snack.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
And don't think I didn't notice how she was forgotten about until the climax of part 1, guys. That's the thing that hasn't come around yet, but I know there's a second after this event, so... But yeah, and what happens is the box activates and everybody gets sucked into a singularity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which is all Nobus all the time. Yeah, Izo is out, I think, for a second.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, no, you can do so many, especially in the early chapters, you can do so much just, listen, it's a Gudaguda thing.
Like, honestly, like, as soon as MASH got on board with being chief retainer, I'm just like, nah, this is all comedy now.
Yeah, no. And that's very early, so you... like, the early bits have the usual fucking FGO event set up, you're wandering alone in the woods, you've got MASH at least with you, and she did get Ortonax, so that's cool. You run into Kagetora, who is hiding her identity with her hood, which is a costume you can get later. And you find some robot samurai guys, and you punch them.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you get to Echigo Castle, and you run into... while transposed into an Avenger, you run into Chaldea's Nobu canonically. This is the 5-star version of her.
Yeah.
You take over the castle and become the Lord. You bonk Mori Nagayoshi on the head, so he comes back to his senses.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you said, you immediately are like, all right, Mash, you are my chief retainer, and she's just in there. And like a lot of little events, she has little audio inserts,
mm-hmm.
which are great. They're great. I love them.
Mm-hmm. I hope they're added to her. She has a lot of voice lines, but I hope they're added.
Hey,
Oh,
no, it's so good. And just like she has the little thing. Yeah, Nobu gets relegated to infantry.
Mhm.
Interesting, by the way, translation I saw from doing the guides and stuff. The original Japanese was she was referred to as Ashigaru, which
that is
were
basic.
foot soldiers.
Yeah.
But it is interesting they went for a vaguely literal translation of infantryman. It works out. And everybody has these little things, right? Everybody has their little titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kagetora doesn't want this to be silly, but she can't stop it. It's silly. Also, to be real, she, as the shopkeeper, she's silly too.
Listen, she screams "Nya" in the middle of battle. It throws some people off, but guess what? That's classic Gudaguda.
Yeah.
But let's see here. So we find out that there's a fuck ton of Nobus running around, and we have to kick all their butts.
Yes, this is all Nobunaga's attack. This isn't literally the final Gudaguda, as in case you can't tell from the fact that there is another one later, but this is a reference to Godzilla Final Wars, which I did also believe involve all the kaiju getting together and fighting each other. Like I said, the man likes kaiju movies.
Mm-hmm. But
so you take over Echigo Castle, and then you're just like, well, we're just gonna punch everybody until we win, and then we'll get out of the singularity.
Mm-hmm. And you just start playing Nobunaga's Ambition.
Yeah. You recruit retainers, you gather resources let you take on castles, you have story fights, and you go back and forth. There's an interesting recurring element where you are against the Demon King Nobunaga, who is one of your big contenders, though there's many, many Nobunagas you run into. There's the real deal one. There's the little big Nobu.
The big Nobu.
Yeah.
Where Hijikata was hanging out.
Mm-hmm. He was just cared for by the mini Nobus.
Apparently he can understand their language. Probably because he's a berserker.
Mm-hmm. Early on, we do run into Kiposhi.
Mm-hmm.
Oda Kiposhi, who is being handled by, guarded by Li Shuen, which, like I said earlier, has one of my best Mori moments where Li Shuen tries to go in for the kill and Mori just transposes himself and gets bonked.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite moment between them is when Li Shuen was in jail and Mori was all like, check out my tea, it's the fucking best! And Li Shuen's like, holy shit, this is good. It's like, cool, let's fight to the death now. And I'm like, god damn it, guys.
Yes, you constantly... half your dialogue to Mori is just variations on, like, cool it, buddy.
Stop.
No, I don't need any heads today. But yeah, no, it's really great. You do these back and forth moments, you slowly build. A very interesting thing happens because there's a recurring story element where the Demon King Nobunaga, Mao Nobu, is sending forth Shibata Katsue to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
Berserker Oni Shibata. He's out there. And you guys have to like deal how to take him down. He's got like a high level noble phantasm that reinforces him or something.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Ryoma doesn't really join you, but he shows up at least. Yeah, I think the best we can say is that, especially since actually I think Cursed Storm is one of the last ones you get, and he has like no relevance to the story.
Yeah.
Ryoma plays your spy master role.
Yeah.
Like, he's not actually out there fighting dudes, but he's gathering intel and setting up stuff so you succeed, because he gets downloaded later. Oryu and Mori have great interactions. Like Oryu is like, who's this sassy giant child? And Mori's like, what is with this cheeky snake lady? I'll fight her.
Honestly, Oryu writing is always great writing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, there's... So, like, he plays your intel role later and helps you figure that out. But I think that Shibata is a very interesting character, and I want to throw it out there. I am astonished he's not playable yet, because he's got most of his animation work. Like, I think he's maybe missing, like, one set of attacks, because he's got, like, a critical attack and a normal attack. He needs a real Noble Phantasm animation, though his Noble Phantasm has actually, like, decent mechanics.
Isn't his model based off the big samurai model, though?
No, it's a standalone. I don't think his animations are quite the same, and he has multiple, because it matches up with his actual story sprites as well, which he has several of, by the way.
Okay.
Maybe, like, I don't know, but he has his own skill sets as well. Like, obviously the one that like heals him so much per turn during that fight is way too big, but he could easily have an HP per turn, for instance. He feels like maybe a 3 or 4 star berserker. He's probably not an SSR, but I think he'd be cool. And yeah, you can't actually defeat him until you recruit Azai Cha-Cha, which is very funny for its own reasons. But that's because, Lucky and I talked about this beforehand as well, Shibata is Cha-Cha's stepfather.
Yep.
Not her birth dad, but he did marry Nobunaga's sister after her first husband something happened. He died.
Yep.
He died because he was dumb.
Well, to be fair, Nobunaga took a gamble on an alliance, and the alliance fell through because there was another older alliance in place.
It's true, but I mean, it's one of those things where people really should start racking up earlier. Like, do I betray Oda Nobunaga or do I stick with this guy? Because the people who fucked over Nobu did not really get to laugh about it.
No,
even you, Akechi, the 11-day shogun.
Well, to be fair, I do believe one of the alliance trees was fucking Nobunaga wasn't supposed to attack the other person. I believe it was. So there's double crossing all over. Do you remember the part where I said there was a lot of betrayal happening in this time?
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah,
but
I love that AFK servant, by the way.
I mean that Netflix production did come out. I believe that was done with some co-op studios with in Japan. So
yeah, it was done with Mappa.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So like, I think that's actually a really interesting character dynamic that obviously translators didn't really grip onto early because it's very small amounts of dialogue in the very last fight you have with him, where basically Cha-Cha, who is in her small form, basically shows up and is like, "Daddy, don't destroy the castle," and Shibata's like, "What? No, 404 error. Shibata not found," and then you just thump him until he goes away.
Well, first Nobukatsu comes out because hanging out with real deal Nobunaga was Nobukatsu.
Yeah.
And I said, real deal Nobunaga kind of killed me.
No, it was great. I love that they literally just got some fucking old-ass Sumai painting to do.
Yeah, and they just, blacked over the head. It's just like, it's just like, oh, you guys. And I do love the line of all like, yeah, why'd I ever think, like, where fucking Kagatori's just like, yeah, why'd I ever think Nobunaga was a woman? And Nobunaga's just all like, you don't get to talk about that! Because it's true, we actually didn't mention this, but modern historians have put forth a theory that maybe Usagi Kenshin was actually a woman.
And instead of esophageal cancer, it would have been something like uterine cancer.
Yeah, they did die in the latrine.
Like some of this originates to like there's some like old Spanish historical documents where the visiting advisor sent back to Spain and Portugal that calling Kenshin aunt, which is very, very funny. But yeah, no, there's some actual historical scholarship. We talked about this 2 years ago when this event came out because people were like, OMG, gender flip, and I'm like, actually, glasses tilt. There's some actual historical scholarship which a giant nerd like Nasu would know about, which could be put in this direction.
You can't hear me, but I'm angrily adjusting my glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also mimed the glasses tilt. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. I also I like what they've done with Kagetori's character a lot, like trying to portray the level of being somebody who actually in history was considered to be an avatar of Bishamonten because Kenshin was very devout and also very good at the fighting.
Yeah.
Very good at punching people. Fought with Katsuye as well. Just bonking people. Giving them slaps. I mean, some of that stuff about, like, inheritance of the clan and stuff isn't wrong either. I was looking this up earlier. Some of the Nagao clan, the Nagao clan advisors were like, hey, Kagetora, you should be in charge, even though I know you're only a 14-year-old kid, but your older brother sucks. We want you instead. Like, damn, that's some spicy history right there.
Yeah.
Like that would definitely make somebody have a little bit of the weird thing. Well, yeah, we talked about this earlier, Axe. A lot of people tried Takuchi for his lazy art styling, but no, like he did some actual really good work with the expression sheets here, because Kagetora's eyes are drawn in such a way, like you mentioned this earlier, where her whites are slightly larger, so she's got like a kind of a wide eye look. And then like the infamous swirly eye irises, no pupil swirls kind of a thing. Like done actually a lot of like detail up close work to give a lot of variance. And I actually like to skip to the end. I was kind of surprised in the climax when she has like a mini breakdown when you're like, nah, I'm cool. And she's like, "What the fuck? You can't do anything. What's your problem?" And I'm like, "Wow, you're really taking this kind of hard." But she ends up laughing it off. But it works to the character's benefit for like
I think
crazy she can seem.
I think it makes sense because, all her life she's been strong and considered inhuman. And, everyone seems to be, concerned about, their own life. And then here comes this weakling-ass kid who honestly really can't do anything. But for some odd reason, everyone just, gathers around them.
Yeah.
Because Kagetora, she has strength. Therefore, she has responsibility. So why the fuck is this weak-ass kid who has no strength is taking on the responsibility of saving these people who, have no relation to him at all? It makes no sense.
Yeah. And that's, it's funny to her, but she gets over it and kind of has that moment of like, well, maybe this is what being human's like. I think I get it. Okay, that's fine. That whole climax bit is really neat, by the way. Like, you think by defeating the Demon King it's over. It's not.
No.
You gotta go to the domain of Makuzu.
It took me a minute. Once I realized the twist, I then realized the god name. I'm like, god damn it, wordplay.
Yeah. Because that's the Kagatana the way you'd write Max.
Yeah.
Makuzu. So, yeah. Caster of Makuzu is Maxwell's Demon.
Mm-hmm.
Another great character who is canonically a caster, but should probably be higher stars. Also release that one. Yes, Axe, it's fucking obvious. Did you miss the conversation in NA Spoiler where one dude was like, I just got that, and 4 people were like, yeah, that's the joke. Of course I get it.
But
yeah, I was there. Anyway.
So Maxwell Demon, seems kind of shady, but surprisingly is on the up and up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it makes sense because when you actually understand it, actually, I should talk about the Maxwell's Demon.
Yeah.
Thought experiment.
I understand it, but I probably cannot explain it as well as you can.
Yeah. So, Maxwell's Demon is a thought experiment, like Schrodinger's cat, which was proposed by a famous mathematician, James Clerk Maxwell, which was basically discussing how one would violate the second law of thermodynamics, which the second law of thermodynamics is the system of entropy.
Yeah.
And it's basically that, let's see, what's the shortest way to state it? It's
basically, the way I understand it is the way that entropy works is that, energy will always balance out, and basically Maxwell Demon is a way to basically subvert that by basically separating the fast and slow moving molecules, alternatively hot and cold molecules.
Yeah, so the second law of thermodynamics, I guess, is if all processes in a system are reversible, entropy is still constant, which means that eventually you will reach an equilibrium where entropy is at its highest. You cannot undo the system of entropy. You will always lose heat and energy. So basically, no matter what, things will normally devolve. But the thought experiment is basically, you've got a tiny demon that controls small massless doors between 2 chambers of gas. As atoms or molecules approach the door, the demon quickly opens and closes it to allow only fast-moving molecules to pass through in one direction and only slow-moving molecules to the other. Because the temperature of a gas depends on the velocities of the molecules, this means that one chamber gets warm and the other gets cold, which means that without applying any work, one can decrease entropy because you're making the 2 systems ordered. Mm-hmm. One is hot, one is cold, rather than becoming a uniform temperature.
Yep.
And thus you would violate the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
And some people don't even agree that this would work, by the way.
Well, yeah, no, well, this is why it's a thought experiment. But in Fate, this basically translates to unlimited power.
Yes, if you can create a system without entropy, that means you can create a perpetual motion machine.
Yep. Which is reflected upon in the dialogue.
And Maxwell's Demon is sure to point out that he's not real because Maxwell's Demon's thought experiment was never actually, applied.
No, you can't.
Yeah, not yet anyway. It may be possible with, certain systems to build it, but even then, it relies on, the thought experiment literally calls out doors that have no mass. So it's a complex thought experiment idea, but it's a thing to think about. But he points out that it's never actually happened. I mean, you don't need people. You just need instruments and solenoid switches. You need you need a computer sophisticated and fast enough to open and shut doors that it can block individual molecules. That's not. I don't think anyway that process is impossible. The thing is just getting all the elements to actually work out.
We haven't reached the level of miniaturization yet.
Yeah, and sophistication. Yeah, that would be nanoscale tech probably to like bypass individual molecules. I'm not saying it's not possible to get like smart membranes and shit. It would just be very complex and require very, very tiny tools. There is actually like ongoing experimentation in working with a thought experiment, but because Maxwell's demon's not normally realized, he's not a real heroic spirit, but because his technology has been replicated by Atlas through Magecraft, which is actually true, the Atlas Academy is able to do some of those high-level thought experiment type shit with their Magecraft, because they're very scientific and mathematical about how they go about it. He can exist in the machine we're in, which is a thing from Atlas, which also Sion points out it was a birthday present from her dad, which I think is adorable, especially if we think of it as a PS4.
Yeah, no, Dad got her a game console.
But it's a replica of a thought experiment machine that creates very, very perfect simulations. So, in the context of the fact that we're actually inside a simulated singularity, Maxwell's demon can exist and be summoned. And we get to see a little bit of his power. It's very interesting.
Honestly, if you just smashed Maxwell Demon with the actual mathematician Maxwell, they could probably work something out.
I mean, yeah, you could definitely... I would argue that Maxwell's demon is possibly more famous than Maxwell himself, but you could work something out. He's got a couple different sprites. We see this later in the reality marble, for instance. He's got a sprite with some stuff behind him, but he doesn't have any playable action.
He looks like he wields dual discs.
Yeah. He's got some giant clock machines or something. I guess he would probably end up being a support caster because his actual true noble phantasm is unlimited magical energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be certainly it would be fair, like that, for them to like, you know, explain why his noble phantasm doesn't actually create a proper perpetual motion machine. Like it doesn't in the singularity either. He talks about,
needs a startup.
Yeah, he needs starter fuel, which by the way, you would need anyway, actually. This is a point that's pointed out. To start the thought experiment, you need the gas to start it to actually like break the thing. So you need starting components for the machine to work. Unfortunately for everybody, the high priest of Makuzu's way of doing this is to use this forsaken child. To quote Venture Brothers, it's powered by a forsaken child. It's powered by children,
which automatically sets off everybody.
Everybody's like, what? And this is why Maxwell's demon is like, by the way, my whole secret plan has been for you to kill me all along. Bye.
Bye.
And even then, it's like even though he's very shortly like involved, like I don't actually think there's enough build up to the High Priest of Makuzu for an event, right? He exists as a character and is very interesting because like he's actually got like a decent direction for this sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a Buddhist monk who seems slightly jaded that there aren't actually any gods or Buddhas in the real world. They don't give, like, a name or anything, but it does sound because, they talk about, the enemy awaits at Honoji kind of thing, right? Like, they do actually talk about how, like, he seems like he was a person who lived through some of Nobunaga's real-life, anti-Buddhism, periods.
There's a lot of bodies, y'all.
Yeah, no, Nobunaga had a long-running beef with the many of the Buddhist temples and orders during the Sengoku period because these were not meditative monks; these were militant warrior monks who existed as basically a whole-ass leg of government and society in their own right, and they didn't want to pay taxes. And Nobunaga was like, "That's not how this works." So, and then he just kind of like, did the normal thing and fell off the wagon in his quest to actually, like, create a perfect paradisical world. It just involved, eating children. I also like that Nobu calls out that if they let it keep going, that the singularity would become anchored to the real world and basically become a lost belt. Like, it would become a full-blown alternate history. Very neat concept.
Very neat concept. They're having a little fun with the lost belts ideas.
A no-belt.
No-belt.
I love it.
No-belt.
Very funny. Very funny joke. Like how Nobu keeps her humor even when we're in a serious moment.
Yeah, that's honestly again like even when it's serious, they never stop with the quips.
Yeah,
like when Nobukatsu, when you're battling Nobukatsu and you're all like, and Nobunaga's like, "It's me, your sister." He's like, "No, you're not. My sister has a more front-facing sprite." I'm just like, oh my god,
I love it. Yeah.
Also, the constant callouts of like. Other things, Okitsu's swimsuit.
The jibes, which are, I'm sure they were still funny when it wasn't known, but now that we have clairvoyance and we know that that's this year, I'm like, oh, that's so cheeky, that's so funny. Like, they know it's coming. They know, because that's only a couple months out would have been a couple months out for JP at the time. They fucking know, and they are selling it so hard.
It's not actually that fucking, bullshit. Like, this is one of those things that we talk about, beforehand. I don't know where the step was, but, it wasn't Nobukatsu, it was Nobuyuki.
Yeah.
At, like, during the secession crisis, but no, that fucker did just, like, try to take over the fucking Oda clan just by, like, trying to kill off family members. It was a thing. By the way, Nobukatsu is actually the name of one of Nobunaga's sons, by the way. It's weird.
Yes. We're still not entirely sure, because I'm fairly certain that's original to the FGO text that they use that flip. I'm not sure where they're going with that direction.
Yeah.
But it is intended by the authors. Maybe when Nobukatsu's materials are translated, we can figure that out. That's a ways away. I do believe that volumes of mats are only up to Lost Belt 4 currently. So we got a ways to go. There's a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of the recruitment stuff are pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Medusa's just like, no!
Medusa's like, I'm trying to hide out, and we're like, you can't run from Gudaguda.
Nope.
You can't run. And she's
Medea
like,
seems to be okay, but she has to sell kyakon.
Yeah. Shop owner Medea. Hell, the whole Sanada clan thing, when you get Emiyuki, that's great. Because you fight the whole fucking family. And Illya's confused if she's the older or younger sister.
I like how Illya clearly knows that something up. Like, this is always the fun thing about Gudaguda. It seems like all the extra characters know that they're actually just playing a role.
Yes.
But I guess no one gave Illya the fucking memo.
She's very confused, especially when Miyu and Chloe show up as extra retainers. She's like, what? And then she's so relieved she doesn't have to be the hostage because she doesn't have to deal with this bullshit anymore.
Also, shout out to the scene when they're trying to send people into the simulation. They talk about sabers having beams. And since Izo can't shoot one, he is clearly not a saber.
Yeah.
And Majin was all like, I can shoot a beam. I'm clearly a good saber. Again,
yes.
watch the Gudaguda drama CD.
Yeah.
It's on. Someone has subbed it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find it. It's good shit.
It is good shit. Oh,
man. At one point, it involves like 5 Ayako Kawasumis yelling in unison. And then they all have to go away because they're like, also, we need to end it because the voice actress is tired. I mean, probably. Izo's skills and stuff mean that he can like function basically as a saber, even though he's an assassin. He's just an assassin first because he's, fucking manslayer. We run into Okita, for instance, on the enemy side as manslayer Okita, where she's just really, really eager to stab people. And then once we, bonk her on the head and she comes back to her senses, she wants to get promoted back to captain.
Nope, she's infantrywoman Okita.
By the time you get to the climax, she's like, surely I've done enough that I can be promoted to captain again, right?
Yeah, brainwashing underwear. Shout out to the scene of Okita is clear of debuffs, which is, I'm pretty sure was another Nobunaga's ambition reference. Do we even have Nobunaga's ambitions over here in the West?
I do believe some of them. Somebody was complaining earlier that it's never on sale. I bet we got a port. I mean, she's always been able to defeat physics. She got to use her Noble Phantasm, I think, for one of the first times on camera. Pretty good. They're on Steam and they're eternally $60. Damn, that sucks. And sometimes it'd be like that, though. I do like that we're building continuity, like, between Gudagudas still, right? Like, Katsu comes back, Cha-Cha gets mentioned again, and she has her whole thing where she's alone inside a golden force field in a golden castle that we have to wait until the power comes down. Yeah,
because, she just overspends. Good job, Cha-Cha.
The Okita thing. I love how Ryoma defeats the Demon King's army by buying up all their fucking rice.
Yeah, no, it's our army marches on their stomach.
Hell, that's one of the things you have to spend. It's the things you spend are 100-man provisions, gunpowder, and iron, I think.
Yeah.
All of which are vital to a war effort in this time period. I do like that you see a wide variety of sprites for your own soldiers and for enemy soldiers. Like, some have swords, some have spears, some have guns, some have bows. It's a lot of flexibility for such a simple sprite.
Yeah, no, they put in the effort to add some variety.
And that's exactly the kind of variety you see in these kind of games, Oh, yeah, they're very sassy too. They don't take any back talk from their fellow Ashigaru.
No, to be fair, they were even back talking even before they became Ashigaru.
Yeah, they're sassy. clearly, like you said, Lucky, they understand the script already, so they understand they're just literal spear carriers, and so they're just gonna have fun.
Mhm.
Spear carriers, by the way, that's a theater term for extras you see in the back of a scene who literally exist to carry spears. They're literally there to stand there and hold spears and seem like they're soldiers in this scene, and then they fuck off. I think a lot of the times those are like usually the props guys or the behind screen guys.
Mhm.
Same with ninjas.
Black pajamas.
Yeah, but no, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I like that Summer Nobu is technically separate, but she's like, yeah, I just want to do my music career. I don't want to become a general. You can enjoy my kabuki Nobus though.
A man only lives but 50 years. Life is but a dream.
The
A
fucking
line
concert. It's very, very fun, very amusing. I like all the references. Yeah, so basically the short version of this event is fucking good. I love it. It's not, mechanically, it's simple enough that you can actually figure it out and play it pretty easy, and it's not super hard. And it's, the writing is just so good. I love it. I love it a lot. Honestly, yeah, I'd say it has a lot of beats from action anime, I think, is what they're going for. Like, or action games. Like, obviously there are dramatic moments, and there are, straight up serious action moments. You have a lot of fights with a lot of people. But also there's a lot of comedy for downtime.
Feels like, I think like maybe like those Avenger beats, those Marvel movie beats. Everyone has a quip, even in the middle of fighting.
Yeah. I like how Ku, by the way, points out that they use his childhood name, Satana.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why do they always have to use my childhood name? I believe that's because the Maida Spearman they're referencing was actually quite young at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, by the way, a lot of these people were tiny baby children. I just mentioned how Nagao Kagetora was took over the clan at the age of like 14. Nobunaga was what, like 16 when his father died?
Yeah. Then that took like 9 years to resolve though, so he was an adult by the time it ended. But
yes,
it started when he was young.
The time that Succession Crisis started, that's very young for all this stuff. Yeah, like there's a lot of shit going on here.
And at that time, Nobunaga was a fool. He was running around with street gangs, dressing flashily and stuff, being crazy.
The fool of Owari.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's where the term kabuki comes from. It comes from the term kabukimono, which is basically the Sengoku-era delinquent phase of youth.
Running around like a crazy man. But yeah, so this event's really good. I think the only thing I wanted to touch on was I again like the continuity thing as we build our background characters. Like Akechi Mitsuhide comes back, he's still super sus. Like, at no point do we trust him. Even though he's openly like, Lady Nobunaga, there's no fucking way I can manage to kill you twice. What are you talking about? I couldn't possibly.
Clearly.
But, I like, that we're building up the continuity. I also like that, like, some of it could just be reusing assets, but the fact that they brought back the Black Giant effect, and the armored soldiers, like, just keep seeing these enemy templates and these enemy tropes in Gudaguda over and over again reinforces them. Makes me very interested in seeing how Gudaguda Yamatai, I think it is going to play out next year. There's a lot of interesting shit here. I do also believe, by the way, that event is very good for farming QP because you literally have the QP fields. Also, by the way, I do want to shout out to this event for giving loads of QP. It's great.
Thank you.
You just do free quests, you get QP. That's pretty nuts. I do believe the characters are the Shinsengumi ones, yeah, but I still don't doubt that they're not gonna keep bringing up characters, because Nobukatsu is also summonable during that one, so. We can presume we probably will still get a new Gudaguda this year, but I do believe that it's been hinted at we will actually get a Halloween event this year. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, we still have the epilogue to do. We need to lock in our permanent Kagetora. I mean, last year's Gudaguda wasn't the time slot. We'll see. That would be nuts if they put Liz in a Gudaguda. Ugh.
Have we done the Yamatai rerun yet? We haven't, have we?
No, Yamatai hasn't had a rerun either. They may be saving that for after some summer shit. Because they did the Summer 5 rerun super early.
Yeah, they did.
Super early. Oh gosh, if that's what gave us Liz Japan, fucking go for it. That would be great. I don't even know what new gameplay nonsense they would ape from. But yeah, I think that's most of our thoughts on Gudaguda 4. It's very goo. Any other moments or lines that really stuck out to you, Lucky?
I'm trying to think here. Mount Nobunaga was pretty baller.
Yeah. I love regular Nobu's comments about herself.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, listen, I knew I was good looking, but damn.
As we said, Nobunaga, she fucks.
Yeah, it's all around great writing. The event level of like difference and like complexity is just good enough. I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
I don't think I have anything necessarily else to add.
All right. Well, we've managed to cross the 2 hour mark, so that seems like a good time to leave off. We'll be sure to talk about any funny haha things that happen in the epilogue next week, as well as lots of other things going on. And we'll, keep our eyes peeled for future Gudaguda servant launches. Who knows? Maybe they've had the time to whip up some more bronzes, or I wouldn't say no to some more permanent 3 stars. Delightworks. Just saying. I did point out earlier that Mori Nagayoshi was literally the first and only 3-star berserker you've added to the game since launch. Not that you necessarily need a lot of competition with units like Kyuhime and Lubu, who are pretty good at the wave clearing and boss killing, respectively, but, there's flexibility there. Gosh, Lucky, I just realized we're probably... Well, no, they probably won't start right away, but that night after we do that show next week, we are going to be in the gacha mine so long because there'll be new bronzes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got several million. Oh, not several million, but I got over 1 million friend points.
I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, it's time to move on with that. So, bronze extra classes would be nice. I don't know if they'll pull that off though. But we have enough time to hit up the 2 more topics we need to do to wrap up this month's worth of stuff. Because, like I said, the month is shaped a little weirdly because this is our last Friday, but only just. So yeah, we got to do it a few days early. But we are going to hit up Teach Me Omega-sensei. And also Fanservant Friday as well. So winning by a lot for Teach Me Omega-sensei was what is happening in Prisma Illya. We have a couple of other options. We may consider it. I need to see how people feel about it. I think my other ones were talking about explaining background characters who are kind of cameos like Sion. And what was my other one? I looked at it just today. I should remember. Because I knew what would win, but I double-checked the poll. What was number 3? I don't know if we necessarily, exploded with support, but, we can probably cycle through a couple. Oh, yeah, talking about the major mage families and clans. Now, it didn't do super good, but we got a decent number of votes. We'll see how people react to this one, and I'll percolate it. I got a week to think about it. So, it's time for everybody to buckle up and for me to talk to you about this. So, obviously, we gave our spoiler warning earlier. There'll probably be some mild spoilers. This isn't really meant to be a whole plot summary, because there's a lot of high-level bullshit in the 3rd act of Prisma that we're not going to touch on. But I also know that a decent number of people are like, hey, I've heard of Prisma Illya, and I know it's been around a while, because it actually has been. It started in 2007. Spoilers for my notes. So it's been around over 10 years. And a lot of people don't really know a lot about it or know the details. So we're gonna give you some high-level setting notes and maybe some different interesting things and how it can touch back to FGO. And if you're interested, you're interested. If not, you can just be like, well, I know what I need to know. So let me adjust my headphones. Let's begin. So, Fate / Khalid Liner Prisma Illya, the caps are canon, and there is a star between Prisma and Illya, is a spin-off manga series by Hiroshi Hiroyama, started in 2007. Technically, the original PRELUDE is actually finished, but it's been continued in sequel series, 2-way and 3-way. These are puns on Zwei and Dry, because Illya is also German. Do you get it? But it's all the same spin-off universe, so we'll refer to it as just Prisma Illya. But 3-way is still ongoing, I believe, and has not technically finished. Still being serialized. Now, I do believe the reason why it's been around for 10 years is I'm pretty sure the Prisma Illya manga is serialized monthly, so it's a little bit of a slow burn, but yeah. By the by, this means that Hiroyama is the FGO artist for Illya, both versions, Chloe and Miyu, as well as they let him draw Chiyome. So, yeah, that's where that guy comes from. And I want to throw this out there in case people are curious about how well received this series is, because like I said, I know that sometimes it's contentious for people. We can say that Prisma is pretty successful, as it's had 4 anime seasons adapting content from the original serialization, 2-way and 3-way, and also has a movie, O Thunder Snow, and a second movie, Licked the Nameless Girl, coming soon, with several OVAs and a 3DS game. It was only in Japan. Sorry.
Sorry.
But obviously, this little spin-off franchise has done pretty well for itself. There were even, I believe, tie-in light novels to the anime and stuff. It's nuts. Yeah, no. Interestingly enough, 3-way is the hugest arc. The anime managed to compact the original story into a 10-episode season. And then we still haven't touched all the content of 3-way yet. It's big. Of course, many people don't know much about it because it's about magical girls, and also because of a handful of meme clips of Chloe being a vampire / sexual predator. In parentheses, same difference? Same thing? Who knows? So, the basic setting, what you're introduced to when the manga starts, is that this is an alternate timeline to Fate Stay Night, so it's roughly about when Fate Stay Night takes place. But Kiritsuga and Irisville stopped the Holy Grail before it began, and they allowed Illya to grow up as a normal child. They sealed away her original memories and personality, and let her just grow up as a normal elementary school girl. So, our protagonist, Illya, lives in Fuyuki City, with her adopted older brother, Shiro, and their 2 maids, Sella and Lestrit, while Irie and Carrie roam the world, presumably shooting anybody who tries to do Grail Wars. It's not actually really explained what her father and mother's overseas work is, but they're out of town a lot, and, yeah. But, they, Shiro and Illya live normal lives, they don't know about magic and shit. I don't know how they don't question what's up with their weird homunculus maids who just chill out all the time, but, here we are. Nasu is jokingly called Prisma Illya the Illya route. I say jokingly because it doesn't line up with his own notes for the Illya route, but it is meant to be a Illya protagonist story. Like, she's supposed to be the central heroine. Hiroyama has also noted that because it's a spin-off alternate timeline, don't get caught up in all the canon details. The rules are not necessarily exactly the same as the original Fate, a tacit admission to a fact everybody should already know implicitly. I love that this came up, where he's just like, listen, don't get caught up in, like, Noble Phantasm and shit. I don't know, I'm just doing something different. I'm doing my own thing. Magical girls. It is also a magical girl series with a lot of these tropes present, drawing on elements specifically introduced in Hollow Ataraxia. That is the first appearance of the Kaleidostick. So Kaleidostick Ruby comes from there, hence the name, Kaleid Liner. And also the inclusion of Luvia as a major supporting character. That was another inclusion from Hollow Ataraxia stuff. So basically, commenting on a lot of extra bonus stuff that comes out. So we do know a little bit about the Kaleidosticks themselves. They are a mystic code developed by well-known super wizard smart guy Zelrich, using the second magic. The Kaleidostick contains an artificial nature spirit, so an artificial fairy, which is contracted to a user, women only, no magical boys, this is canon, which can convert love into unlimited magical energy, the love is in scare quotes, and can also augment the user with powers and skills of parallel universe versions of themselves. So, this is the really funny, weird part. It's not that the Kaleidosticks turn Illya, Miyu, or even Luvia and Rin into magical girls. No. They connect them to an alternate universe where they are already magical girls. It's very nonsense. Ruby's a snot. Also, Ruby is a chemist? Don't ask me how this shit works. It's second magic. I ain't gotta explain shit. Also, don't ask me how Ruby can be a chemist when she's an artificial fairy stuck inside a stick. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so Rin and Luvia are given the Kaleidosticks, Ruby and Sapphire. Sapphire is new to Prisma Illya. To deal with another core setting element in Prisma, the class cards. These class cards, originally called servant cards, are physical cards which represent the 7 core classes of the Holy Grail War, and they started showing up in Fuyuki City, so Zeldritch is like, you two, take these sticks, go fight class cards, come back, call me when you're done, bye. Because that's apparently how this man operates. And then Ruby and Sapphire get fed up with Rin and Luvia's constant bickering, and decide to find pure hearts to manipulate. What? Anyway, the class cards are actually a fairly interesting mechanism in this all. They basically contain all the powers and abilities of a servant in the card, allowing them to be summoned forth without providing them spiritual bodies, which presumably saves on magical energy, and also by removing any ego or personality the heroic spirit possesses normally, except Gil, his ego is that huge. The summoner can then access the power of that heroic spirit in one of 2 ways. These are, of course, being an anime, have very anime-ass names. The first is you can include the card in a mystic code. This temporarily allows you to summon a heroic spirit's noble phantasm. So, at different points in the show, like, for instance, Illya or Miyu will include the Saber class card to briefly turn their Kaleidostick into Excalibur. The other major function is called Install. This actually has the summoner be partially merged with the heroic spirit, overlapping their existences, and it grants the user of the class card all the skills, the noble phantasms of the heroic spirit, and altering their appearance. So, class change, costume change, whatever, into the heroic spirit, they get their skills and abilities. A fairly neat mechanic, which is fairly useful for stuff. So, this is a decent plot point in the beginning. They're not necessarily downgraded. You are limited by your own abilities. The downgrade explicit is for my next bullet point, because the class cards can manifest basically shadow servants when they have to leech magical energy off the land. This is why they are a problem in Fuyuki, because they're just hanging out in a place. They manifest with a darkened or altered body with no reasoning and reduced parameters, but they're able to create a mirror world so that only people with magecraft can fight them, i.e. magical girls. Very common magical girl nonsense. I do not actually think the heroic spirits themselves are downgraded, because people using the Archer Emiya card can actually pull off some bullshit projections that even Emiya can't do normally. I believe at one point Chloe shoots an arrow that is Excalibur in Avalon, which should not be possible in the normal Fate Stay Night timeline. And don't try to explain how that makes sense in the lore. It doesn't. The author thought it was cool. Stop it. Don't try to backport. Just suck it up. Go with it. Okay? Roll with it. Nope. Don't justify it. It just happens. The author thought it was cool. Also, it is actually kind of cool seeing, Excalibur Avalon turned into an arrow. So, the class cards are approximately the same size as a tarot card. One should think of them, I don't know why I wrote once in my notes, but I did. One should think of them as similar to how FGO kind of displays raw saint graphs. We are technically summoning cards out of the gacha machine. But basically, our system of phantasm summoning is more like a collectible card game than a Mahou Shoujo show. We just throw our cards at people and they turn into servants and fight them. But yeah, if you have to think of how it works, think of we're supposed to be carrying in a briefcase. It's literally holding all our saint graphs, right?
Yeah.
Which is the encoded data, the engraved data of a heroic spirit and all their stuff. So yeah, I assume they're similar. Oh, now it is originally believed that the class cards are fragments of Ilya's universe, Holy Grail War, but it actually turns out that they're from another parallel world. Yes, we're a parallel world from a parallel timeline.
Okay, Scope Man.
Yeah, from their Holy Grail War, specifically the parallel world that Miu is originally from. And in Miu's timeline, Shiro is also her adoptive older brother. God, this is getting convoluted fast. I like how Axe keeps trying to extra explain everything. He's doing a reverse of a summary. But yeah, no, in case you can't tell, this goes down a rabbit hole. So yeah, Miu's from an alternate timeline inside the alternate timeline. And she also has a separate Shiro as her adoptive older brother. Yes, of course. It makes absolute perfect sense.
I mean, I watched the movie, it's fine.
Yeah, I know. If you watch it, it makes sense. But it's one of those things where if you read it out in summary form, you got to be like, man, damn, this goes deep. So Chloe, also sometimes called Kuro, Black, is a manifestation of A, Ilya's magical energy as a lesser Grail terminal. B, Ilya's suppressed knowledge, natural knowledge as a Grail terminal / Einsburn homunculus. You know how when we see her in Fate Zero, she seems like she's a whole grown person, even though she was probably born not that long ago. And C, the Archer class card. In the story purposes, this kind of basically makes her the Emiya to Ilya, but also her cool, relaxed, and very cheeky personality are also supposed to be akin to the regular Fate Stay Night Ilya. Kind of like the author created Chloe as a character so he could have a more OG Ilya-like Ilya, while regular Ilya is very young and naive about stuff, because she had normal psychological development. Chloe's existence is hinted back as in the first series as Ilya's complementary, superpowered badass personality that every heroine needs in an anime, before manifesting as her own character in 2A. She originally calls herself Ilya's Veal before picking a new name to avoid confusion and to blend in as an extraneous cousin, because tropes. Literally, they grow an extra Ilya, and then to explain it to Shiro, they're like, this is her cousin, Chloe. She is definitely not literally the same person, just tanned and with different hair color. Now, this is a note that a lot of people skim over because of the memes. Well, yeah, they reset her development a little, but it's a little wiggly. We don't actually know how much time they compressed and stuff. This is another weird thing with the timeline. They say that it's supposed to be parallel to Fate Stay Night, but as somebody pointed out in chat, Ilya is 18-ish in Fate Stay Night, late teens, early 20s age range, even though she's physically, still small. Whereas I believe in Prisma she's supposed to be 10 or 11, so the dates don't quite line up. Also, we include elements from Holorexia, which is a year or two later. It's a little confusing, but I think I've talked about this before. The actual Fate Stay Night timeline gets very muddled if you look at it for too long. It was not necessarily written for different events to line up perfectly. So, that's cool. But yeah, what I wanted to bring out is that basically Chloe is kind of like the Shadow Servants because the Archer class card is in her body. So this is the thing that happened. She has its powers at all time, and she also has a body produced by magic. Basically, because she's Ilya's extra magical energy because she was a Grail terminal. she is wished into existence. So she needs to recover her magical energy frequently, hence the kissing. This is a PG-13 version, and I'll say 13, fuck it, of the mana transfer beam. The alternative would be too spicy for TV, but they can do a funny haha. And yes, in general, the context of the series is this is as much a joke as anything supposed to be sexual. The fact that Chloe goes around kissing elementary schoolers into oblivion and trying to fuck up Illya's life is supposed to be a yoke. By the way, putting my theory crafting hat on, you could also argue that this basically makes Chloe Illya alter, because she's a body given form by a wish on a grail, even if it's a lesser grail. You know? It's a funny thought. Oh, sorry, I'm adjusting my headphones. I don't know why, but my headphones are kind of bothering me today. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, she kind of, because of the skin tone and powers, she plays the Emiya role to Illya of being like the, I'm you, but cooler and older, even though we're the same age, kind of. I think Chloe even calls herself the older sister. But yeah, no, it's just she's got the altered thing. Now, there's a whole extra rigmarole with Miyu's universe and their Holy Grail, but that is all three-ray stuff, so you will have to read that far ahead if you want to figure out. It's all Galaxy Brain spoiler stuff, okay? That's like literally in the third act-ish of the series. You need to like suck it up and go that far if you want to figure it out, but it gets really complex. Suffice it to say, this starts as a very lighthearted series focusing on Illya as a heroine and involving classic stuff like friendship and collecting magical MacGuffins, and quickly slides into battles for life, liberty, the future of Earth, as you do. But hey, Bazette shows up. She gets to be cool. Also, once again, noting that there's a lot of references to Hollow Ataraxia in this. Another way to think of it is that it seems like the three arcs or the three series produced so far, the first one, 2-Eye, 3-Ray, are kind of meant to mirror the original 3 acts of Fate Stay Night, 3 routes, even though they're sequential, not alternate routes. Because the first one is very but simple, collect magical MacGuffins, obtain friendship. The second one has to deal with a lot more man versus self kind of nonsense and stuff. And then the third one is just, like, evolves into a horrible clusterfuck of, like, plot and deep lore and shit. Most of the things that happen in Miyu's universe are pretty fucked up. Her version of Cheer is a cool guy, though, I guess. That's cool. He gets an unlimited blade works that's all snowy. That's neat. He's a cool guy who doesn't afraid of anything. That would be a weird servant, but arguably possible? I mean, they made Chloe work. Also, I have a final trivia note before we come up to my conclusion. Yeah, there's a lot of weird gags. The fact that this is something actually that broke my brain, but I've talked about before. But the fact that Karen is the school nurse, even though that's not how the fucking timeline works, because Karen's supposed to be like the same age or a year younger than Shiro. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I literally tried to explain that when talking about Karen's character design, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It literally doesn't work. So this is, like I said, that author thing talking about like, nah, the shit's just different, okay? But anyway, what I was going to say about the trivia is Hirayama actually had 2 manga proposals. Technically, this was his second, but one of them was Prisma Illya, a magical girl series, but the other was a manga about Luvia and Rin's rivalry in London. He thought the latter would be a no-brainer, a winning choice, but Nasu Takeuchi actually liked the magical girl one. Interesting. So that's a pretty cool note. Obviously, I think that the fact that they ended up including lots of elements of Rin and Luvia in the story means that the author just recycled some of those elements he was planning for that proposal. But yeah, no, it's an interesting thought. I would not mind a manga about that, but I suspect that new sequel series to Case Files will probably do that.
Hope so.
Yes, Nasu is a lunatic. So to conclude, how does this Prisma stuff relate to FGO and to the collaboration event? Well, my conclusion is it really doesn't. So, none of the mechanics or lore of the Prisma event line up very well with the loose canon of the actual Prisma world. The major tie-ins are the characters and the magical girl tropes, but there's no class cards, there's no talk about Miyu's home dimension. It's very much like it was a traditional movie of an anime series where it's absolutely disconnected and makes no goddamn sense, but it has some cool action scenes. So the major tie-in is the characters. That said, given how the Kaleidosticks work, we do know that there is at least one parallel universe where magical girls do exist and do magical girl things, because as I mentioned earlier, the sticks draw on the power from an alternate dimension U, so this means that there are magical girl tropes and so on, which we can run into, which the Singularity does kind of, this kind of tracks with the way the Singularity is set up. They're must be some version of a timeline which is a magical girl setting inherently.
I guess that's just where the singularity was, I guess.
Yeah. So that makes sense that the singularity does exist that way. Another way I phrased it, basically, it makes as much sense as Oniland. Like, yeah, it runs on magical girl tropes because it does, but we know that because of the way the Kaleido sticks are actually set up, there has to be a parallel universe where that stuff exists. Damn, that's a very... I didn't even realize Kiryu was that ripped in Prisma. That's another thing. He should be not super old, but he should be pretty old as well. The timeline of Prisma is very fuckled. I do not like fighting with chronologies in Fate stuff. It hurts my brain. But yeah, that's basically my conclusion. Like, that should give you a high-level overview of Prisma and a lot of its concepts. Like I said, it starts more lighthearted and simple. This is probably why a lot of people can't get into it. But the first anime is short. It's only like 10 episodes, and then you start getting into the more complex shit. Like, once again, even if you can get over Chloe constantly trying to siphon magical energy, like, there's a lot of introspective, deep, navel-gazing shit in that season as well, as Illya has to deal with an alternate, cooler version of herself trying to kill herself. It's pretty wild. Oh, God. Sorry, I talked about this earlier. One of my ears is killing me with the headphones. Don't know why. But yeah, those are my conclusions. Hopefully you're interested in the series, and if not, you're not.
And I watched all the anime and the movie, so I should probably pick up the manga at some point.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to work through. I know they're working on that. The second film will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they'll do a Miu rank up in a banner to tie in with it if they don't do a full-blown new event. I believe it's also been a little bit since Miu's had a raid up, and she could really use a rank up. Those demerits suck. Yeah, no, the later shit, especially the 3-ray plot stuff, which arguably, not that I would necessarily advise this, but arguably you can just skip straight to that if you know who the characters are, because, like I said, the basic mechanics are all there, but the plots seem fairly well disconnected, so you could probably jump straight to the real serious shit if that's your style. Okay. Let me reposition myself in my chair.
Yeah, sorry, there's someone drilling, so I have to keep, muting so it doesn't come over through the mic.
That's fine. I was taking a stretch. It's okay, we'll edit out all the awkward silence.
Righto.
Technically, I could edit out the drilling too, but that would be a lot more specific.
Yeah, sorry. No respect. No respect.
No, you'll never get no respect. This is business time right now. But alright, let's see. It took us about 20-30 minutes. So let's wrap up with our final topic for the month. Bring it in home. Let's do Fanservant Friday. Shocking nobody. Black Knight Saber won. Not by a lot, though. Lananshi was pretty close. We'll have to see if that comes back. And I can go ahead and say what... I won't list who it is. You'll have to wait till the poll goes live. We'll talk about it on the show, because that'll be, like I said, that'll be like the third or something. But I can say safely that next month being July, that all of our subjects for next month for Fanservant Friday will be from the United States of America, actually. And so we'll be touching on both historical figures and or folkloric figures. And I know which one Lucky will tiebreak if there's a tie. But yeah, so that'll be a fun one. But Black Knight won. So I feel very... Been sleeping kind of uneasy lately. My back and stuff feel very stiff. Give me a second to get comfortable in this chair.
Rich!
Roll my neck and relax a little. Alright, okay. I've relaxed my posture. I'm good. So, Black Knight, Saber. People have asked, what Black Knight? And my answer was, yes. So, before we go anywhere with this, I approached this one from the concept that the idea of a Black Knight, a knight clad in black, or especially a knight who has black draped over his shield so he has no heraldry, because that was kind of a big deal, is a very, very strong recurring motif in a lot of medieval literature, but especially in a lot of Arthurian mythology. Both the classical Welsh stuff and then even later works as well. At certain points, this is where we see the image of Lancelot clad in black. And you could argue, isn't Berserker Lancelot just a Black Knight? I mean, yeah, but that's very much Lancelot, though. Like, literally, that's Lancelot. And that's not to say that Lancelot didn't clad himself in black a couple of times, but that's not really the idea of the Black Knight you guys will see in these other legends. So, that's kind of what I went with here. And the result is a character who is a amalgam of several characters or concepts, some of whom are never named, which exist in the greater Arthurian mythos. Is this a fallen knight of the round? Is this a enemy of the Knights of the Round? Is he a literal, ghost knight? Spooky ghost knight? You know, is he a concept which has come up lately because of Avalon the Fae? Is he like a knight of the fairies? Who knows? There are several myths and concepts we'll be pulling from. But I did basically go with the idea that this is an antagonist knight saber type character. Who knows? You could even have the old multiple ascensions or multiple dudes thing. You'd probably want to do something if this was an actual FGO unit with the art design, because otherwise it would be very, very samey, as he is a knight clad in black. We'll talk about that some more with Noble Phantasms and stuff. For the stats, because he's a saber, I went with pretty well-rounded B strength, B plus endurance, agility C plus, mana C. Luck D, because he's a villain, right? He's an antagonist character. He usually loses stuff. High level NP B. Class skills, magic resistance and writing C. He is a knight. He's of the knight class. He should have some normal-ass functions, but, you know, nothing too crazy. That's not really what makes this servant unique. So, for skills, well, obviously, one, because it's a joke, but also because it actually is related to certain legends of, like, Ghost Black Knights or, you know, Phantom Knights clad in black. Batcon A, persist with mortal wounds. I wrote in my notes, you know, the Black Knight's an almost supernatural force. This was in actually some of the legends of you know, Sir blah 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 and a Black Knight. The concept of a Black Knight, you know, stays in a magical tower, right? Is he typing about the drilling, or is he typing about what I'm saying? Sorry.
No, I think the drilling's over. Never mind.
Okay.
Yay.
But yeah, so this was an actual, like, one of the folklores that a Black Knight appears in is like, oh, there's a Phantom Knight clad in black armor who defends this tower. You have to fight him. You have to send 100 men to fight him before he can lose, kind of a thing. So, like, high-level Batcon actually makes sense, but also, you know, I put in my notes, could persist even if his limbs were severed. Because, you know, I'll bite your legs off.
Follow the draw.
'Tis but a flesh wound. Your arm's off. How about you? Like, that kind of energy, like, it's a funny joke, but also it is actually true. Like, various of these, like, especially more mystical or mythical Black Knights are like, no, this dude's like a super knight ghost. You have to, like, kill him 100 times before he dies kind of shit. So, high-level Batcon, pretty fun. The second skill here is Bloody Coat, ranked to C+. Coat filled with cuts, stained with blood. This is a note of a description of a knight known as Brunor the Black, of which there are two separate knights in King Arthur's court known as this, Brunor the Black. But it's a dark coat that's filled with cuts stained with blood. While both of the Sir Brunors were good knights who served King Arthur, the coat was a symbol of murder and a quest for revenge. One of the Brunors the Black wore the bloody coat because it was his dad's coat that he was literally assassinated in. Like, his father was wearing the coat, some dudes came up on him while he was unprepared, filled him full of stabs, and his son wears the bloody coat of his dead dad to remember his revenge forever, kind of shit. Very melodramatic. So, it is transposed onto the Black Knight as a skill. The coat he wears is stained with blood of those he has killed. Enemies instinctively see him as a greater threat and engage. But he's stronger against, you know, other targets. Basically a taunt kind of skill. Like, the bloody coat is, you know who this guy is. He's literally covered in blood and stab wounds. He's a serious, scary guy. Final skill is just monster strength C. You know, strength of a demonic beast. Again, the legends are so ambiguous about what knight is the Black Knight, and there are multiple knights who are Black Knights. You know, people called that. I just figured an easy shoe-in. And this would probably go out of style if this was a servant kit for real in FGO. Because he actually has two noble phantasms. The first, and the most potent one, is Coat of Black. I got a little melodramatic with this myself. The subtitle is Black His Shield, Black His Armor. This is an EX rank anti-personnel self-noble phantasm. So, basically, the legend of the Black Knight is multi-purpose, right? There are multiple characters who are called the Black Knight. Some are villains who are enemies of Camelot. Others are allies and staunch defenders. Some are traitors. Others are redeemed. It's just, there's a lot of people who are like, blah, 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 the Black or the Black Knight. It's a lot of characters, but we think of the concept of the Black Knight as an archetype, so it gets recorded that way as a servant. The theme, which becomes his noble phantasms, is from these stories. A knight clad in black armor with a blackened shield. His true name and allegiance are not known. It makes a continuously active type noble phantasm. Masters and servants can sense no details about him. Only his class is known. You can tell he's a saber. Other than that, you don't know what his parameters, alignment, skills, or noble phantasms are. Any attempts to determine his true name are effectively negated. He is just the Black Knight.
I am the Black Knight.
Yeah, so basically, like, you can't try and shenanigans him by figuring out what legend he is or what his true identity is or any of that stuff. It doesn't work. He is just the Black Knight. He's not the strongest evil knight or anything like that, but you can't try and shim-sham him in any way. Because it is also literally the Noble Phantasm represents his shield and his armor. They are shield and armor that can deflect Noble Phantasm weapons and are basically impenetrable to mundane weapons. And, magic circuits are embedded in the armor, which allow him to generate energy similar to the use of Mana Burst, amplifying speed and power at the cost of mana. So basically giving him some cool armor that'll absorb hits, let him do, super cool servant moves, and also just in generally be like, no, you cannot tell. Who's that guy? I don't know that guy. But what makes him a saber is his other Noble Phantasm. I had to make up a name. I picked Stormbrand. Red his hand, red his blade. Very melodramatic. This is a B- Noble Phantasm. It's an anti-armory Noble Phantasm. Pretty simple. The Black Knight's sword. A malicious blade that has killed many knights. And I took the legend and name of this from the story of Sir Skelegrams and the Castle of Maidens, which is a pre-Mallory Arthurian story, where the title character goes to a castle filled with kidnapped maidens, and to get inside, he has to summon a supernatural Black Knight and fight him. So the Black Knight appears in a hailstorm. So his sword is black. It's etched in fairy letters, which glow like lightning. It's a very long, sharp, deadly sword, but it's freezing cold to the touch. It feels like your very blood will freeze if you're cut by it. Pretty cool, sinister stuff. And then if you release its true name, it shoots a beam of thunder and hail. It fires an icy blast of energy. But because it's not a very famous sword and it's super evil, it will not be better than any holy sword wielded by a servant of good. If, for instance, Saber Artoria ever met the Black Knight, she would absolutely kick his ass because that's how that story works.
Yeah.
But even so, maybe like if you were to translate in FGO terms, I'm thinking something like maybe a simple AoE buster or even like an AoE arts maybe with some decent hit counts because he's shooting lots of little hailstones. But like gives him a cool weather effect. And the Sir Skelegrams and the Castle of Maidens story is one of the older Black Knight stories, and it like if you look this up, it's a pretty interesting legend. Like the knight like goes out to a forest and talks to an old man and enters a circle of stones and like has to like dip his blood in a bowl to challenge the Black Knight, who appears in a fierce hailstorm and kicks his ass. Like he defeats the original title character and he has to go get help from other knights. It's a pretty metal legend. Yeah, that's basically what I got. The Black Knight is not a not a singular person, but he is a transposition of the concept of a knight who hides his coat of arms and his allegiance in black. He could be a good guy, he could be a bad guy, but he is an antagonist and he's here to fight you and be very scary. And honestly, there may even be elements of this I could enhance with better lore. Like, I could replace that monstrous strength maybe, if we get some extra lore on some of the Fairy Knight skills. Because I do actually think a few of them are pretty relatable to this. I also know that I may want to double check what their skills are like, and actually for Lenon Shi, because I based a lot of my thoughts on her lore off what we understand of Python, actually.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's a little early. That's very funny, though. Lucky has been added to remind me to log in, which Lucky did ask for, but it's very funny because we're recording right now, and I don't know if it's possible for Lucky to forget to log in because we're doing the show. And I don't know if it'll be done in 6 minutes.
No, don't worry. I logged in. I didn't. Like I said, I said earlier I was. Actually.
Well, I don't think you would have gotten the 30 Saint Quartz yet because you got to log in at the research.
Yeah, no. Well, this card's not in the thing, so he went and heard that I leveled up. I was leveling up Avenger Nobu.
Yeah, you're in right now. It's fine. But you did ask for it. You didn't tell anybody to wave off, so
yeah.
It's just very funny.
I will give my appreciation regardless, though.
But yeah, so that was Black Knight. This is one of my happy, fun, like esoteric servants. Sometimes I get these ideas, much like Fate writers must do, where I'm like, hey, what if I made like the concept of the Black Knight a guy? And then it was like, what class would he be? Well, like a saber. What would I do? And then you look up on Legends, and I'm like, oh, this is like an interesting like he's a literal like knight who appears in a dark storm. Yeah, I think he'd make an interesting like brief antagonist servant, like maybe a 3 or 4 star type deal. Like, obviously shouldn't show up as a super powerful, like, Knight of the Round, but he could be one of the Knights of the Round in Northern Armor. You don't know.
I know his life.
Yeah. Literally, you don't know his life. You're not allowed to. That's his EX rank noble phantasm. Coat of black. His coat of arms is black. Who is he? You don't know. But yeah, that was one I had a lot of fun with. I didn't mention this earlier, but his alignment is lawful evil, because duh. And if you did want to distinguish him from Lancelot, I know Lancelot has a lot of... Berserker Lancelot has a lot of red and black. This guy's color scheme should absolutely be black and blue, like ice blue type shit, because there is a very recurring theme of cold here. So, yeah, that's what I thought. So tune in next month for us doing some American ones. You'll see some historical figures and some folkloric figures, which I'm sure people will be very excited for. And I will also be excited for, because I know for a lot of these I had a lot of fun. After that, for August, I don't fucking know. I'll think of something. I'll make some shit up. But I did prepare well ahead of time for July's setup, so I have all 4 set up and they're new.
I didn't see this. I gotta retweet this.
And I do have to, I noticed that a decent number of people, like I said, were excited for Lenanshi. I'll have to bring that back. Sorry, sneezed. I'm very disappointed that no one seemed that interested in Berserker Sir Dagonet, but I'll force you guys to do that one later. That involved lots of scholarly research to come up with that concept. Knights are cool, y'all. But alright, well, I think that's everything in the show business. Let me close that tab, don't need that anymore. So let's see, that was Teach Me, that was Fanservant. I also talked about next month. So yeah, I think that's the bulk of the show meat. Remember, next week we will presumably be going for a live show to pip in and talk over, do a live watch along commentary with the anniversary panel that will be premiering. It won't be streamed per se, but it will premiere. That way you guys can get your news at the same time we do, and then we'll probably dissect it and talk about our like I said, our normal stuff. I said this earlier because we were going to have a decently long show. Let me look at it right now. Yeah, we're almost 3 hours. The edit will obviously trim that down a little, but it's midnight, and I don't want it to go too long because I'd like to be able to release it in a timely manner. But also because I want to play all those games I bought on fucking Steam, and I can't do that if my video's exporting. I'll have to play Mass Effect instead. More about that on What's Up tomorrow. Or later today if you're watching this when it goes public on YouTube. But tomorrow if you're listening to the audio, if you're a patron, Anyway. So yeah, next week we will hopefully be able to transpose, like flip What's Up to Friday and then do Let's Talk FGO on Saturday, talk about the thing, do the news. I pushed well for a corner then because the show's already 3 hours. It doesn't need to be another 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And
like I said, you can't get Kagetora permanently anyway, so it's fair to push off. It probably will not be live that week because we will be talking about all the news, but I have heard you guys. I am planning on, I don't know if we'll sprinkle out like one a week, but we can do little profile spotlights on the new bronzes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't, let us know in the comments how you would like that. Would you like just a big, info dump 1 week, or would you like us to parcel that out like one a week for 7 weeks, stretch out the content? Whatever is more manageable to y'all.
Y'all.
And, yeah, I don't think we got anything else. It won't yet be time for the time lock on Avalon the Fae to open up, so I don't think we'll have any, like, moving and shaking news over in JP. So, but keep your eyes tuned. You never know what will show up. We do have some potential, like, call-outs to, like, Solomon stuff. And again, I would like to remind everybody about our pro tip. Be warned about Camelot tie-ins being announced, because they are probably going to talk about the Camelot anime and how they're going to roll that out to us, the movies. Especially since both are now out in JP. So, stay on your toes. Yeah, if that's everything, we can go ahead and do the wrap up. Lucky, do you think there's anything else we need to talk about today?
No. I do want to shout out, because I just saw it out. Make sure you go check out the FGO USA Twitter. They just released their image. Well, not just, but today they released their image for the 4th anniversary. It's a very nice piece of art. I like it. I've been saving them. I'm using it as my wallpaper for a while.
Yes, we got our special art tie-in today, and it's very good, very high quality.
Very good.
I had it somewhere, but my Twitter is full of other people's art. There was an artist. You can look it up. I retweeted it from both from my accounts and from the studio account, because it was.
I just retweeted it myself.
Yep. So y'all can find it out there. Also, don't forget about that social media campaign. I'm sure we've hit it, but in case we haven't, consider retweeting or liking on Facebook if that's your thing, and we'll get into it. Okay. Well. Like I said, I don't want to overinflate the show. I do have to edit this, and it is now midnight, exactly. So, I do want to get myself my login for Quartz and go about my business. So, it's time to do the outro. Hey, if you like this episode, be sure to give it a like if you're watching on YouTube. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. You can also hit us up on our Discord. That link is, as always, in the video description. If you are new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We are so close to 3K subs. Please get us to 3K subs before next weekend, before the weekend of July 4th, so we can celebrate. Do it. Subscribe now. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your mother to subscribe. Get your grandpa to subscribe. Make a YouTube account for your dog. Have your dog subscribe. Make sure they hit the subscribe button with their little paws. I do actually believe, by the way, pet paw pads will work a touchscreen. Just letting you know. Even if you are already subscribed, consider hitting that bell for notifications, so you can always know when we post a new video or when we stream. This will be very important if we're doing weird shit like streaming What's Up on Not a Usual Day, or streaming Let's Talk FGO, or other things like Gorilla streams. Gorilla. I really had to fight the urge to break down into Rotate Banana. Nope. We're doing the outro. Come on, Robin. It's already happened. It's fine. Calm down. You'll see it when you do timecodes later.
Merp.
An excellent map emote. Where was I? Ah, yes, notifications. So with that out of the way, I would like to remind everybody they can also join our channel memberships, get access to emotes and membership badges, help us out, support us, and continue growing our stuff. And of course, like it said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to the episode early in audio format for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. Yes, you do get a discount. It's a little over 10, but you know what I mean. It's a pretty good discount. You can get access to our entire audio backlog and all that good stuff. At higher levels, you can access polls like the upcoming Teach Me Omega-sensei. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the reaction to that segment is before I pitch a new one. But I've got a whole week before the new month, so we can see how people feel. Definitely there will be a new Fanservant Friday poll. Like I said, I'm locked, cocked, and ready to go on that one. So at the 5 and up level, you can vote in those topic polls and get access to videos early. And at higher levels, you can listen to all our shows live, access to other channels and stuff, and in general, have a good fun time. And it really helps us out. So, with all that, this has been Let's Talk FGO. We will see you next time for the big anniversary bash. Yay!
Yay!
All right, bye, everybody.